Yeah, welcome in. Happy Monday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. Yeah, so the Padres had an interesting weekend. They win the series, but they lose so much more. And that has been the story of the season. There are no positives without negatives. There's no door swinging this way without the door swinging fro. It is just going to continue being this broken down carnival ride of a season like we were talking about on Friday. So the Padres, they do win the series against the Kansas City Royals as they extend the road trip now to Anaheim, where they'll face the Angels coming up today. 6:38 p.m. first pitch. Don't miss it. Don't be 2 minutes late. If you tune in at 6:40, you will have missed potentially the first homer of the game. Who knows?
Yeah, why do they do that?
6:38 exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's so silly.
Are you talking about why did they homer right off the get-go?
No,
or
why do they make a 6:38 first pitch with a P?
According to some people here in the station, they make it odd time so you remember the time.
Interesting.
But why just one random game in the middle of the season?
Yeah, 6:38.
Don't know.
Gotta be there.
Don't know.
So yeah, that's
I don't know why that pisses me off, but it pisses me off.
Yeah,
I mean, you should write a letter.
Tell you right now,
Yeah.
it's Monday, and that's not a good start. It's not a good start if your week starts off and you're like, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. 6:38, something wrong with them. Yeah. Well, they're going to frustrate you if that's bugging you, because this team, for all the good, like I said, there's bad. So good. The good news, the Padre positive, they won the series against the KC Royals. So, hey,
right on. That's a good team.
Right. Yeah,
Fernando hit a homer.
It's a good team.
Nando goes yard. Okay, there were good
In
things.
fact, Nando's heating up a little bit.
Hopefully so.
I think he's
because
10 for his last 24
He's
hits.
been pretty terrible this season, so that would be a good thing. That would be a good thing.
It's terrible. I don't know about terrible.
He's been terrible.
To Nando standards.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of like almost all throughout baseball corner outfielder standards. Like, he's been pretty terrible. So if he could pull it together, my goodness, how good would that be? But here's the bad news, the real bad news. We've got two starting pitchers, one of which was presumed to be the ace of this staff, and the other one, the two-starter of this staff when we started the season. Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove both on the 15-day IL. Ooh, yikes.
Woof. Yeah,
Not
woof
good.
indeed. I mean, if you're gonna get injured, if you have to pull one injury card a season, I guess now's the time to do it. Yeah, don't start counting how many injury cards.
Wait,
Okay,
hang on, this is Darvish's second stint on the IL this year.
Yeah,
Musgrove's second
stint.
So when you say pull one
wasn't
injury card,
Darvish at the start of the season?
yeah. So, but when you say you pull one injury card on the year, that's not true.
I'm going to be honest with you.
And if there's already been two pulled,
I'm going to be honest with you. I think we have our answer to the question of who do they call up next, because Randy Vasquez, really nice call up on, I believe that was Saturday.
Okay.
Out of AAA El Paso.
I know what you're about to say.
Are you looking for a
Five
guy?
showing innings.
I
You're looking
love
for
what
a
you're about
guy
to say.
that could.
We're watching ESPN 8. That's ESPN The Ocho. And the World Wiffle Ball, or I should say the National Wiffle Ball Finals are on right now. And there is a pitcher dealing straight up heat, dudes. Check out this slurve that he's throwing.
It's
God.
Have you guys ever been scrolling through TikTok, and there's this account that does live wiffle ball games, and it's someone's backyard, but they all have jerseys, a bunch of dudes with boilers, like big beer guts and stuff.
Yeah.
But they go out there, they deal. I got trapped. I watched it for like 2.5 hours one time.
Can you watch as he after he delivers the pitch, he turns around to go back to the bucket. Is he really excited to be there?
Dude,
Or is he wearing a cup in some manner?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Watch
Yeah,
when he
hang
turns
on.
around.
Yeah.
Oh, they cut away.
Well,
Yeah.
baseball players adjust. They're frequently touching their groin.
Wow,
That's the first thing you learn in
a
baseball.
lot
school.
happening
This
there.
guy's got a kielbasa in his pocket. Maybe he's Polish. Pretty unbelievable game going on. Heated. We'll keep you updated on ESPN The Ocho, the Wiffle Ball Nationals. But
we
both
also
these guys-
know a guy that can throw the ball 70 miles
Why are we
per
doing this?
hour.
I'm just saying.
Why are we doing this?
What? You just get brought in just for a couple weeks.
Listen, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I would.
Okay. Okay. Well, hang on a
Wait,
second.
why?
This feels like a great promotional vehicle for our show. Maybe some people around San Diego who
Right.
haven't had a chance to sample us on the free iHeart Radio app maybe they would see you and be like, oh my gosh, is that Fletch from Big Rich City and Fletch? I thought he was dead. And we're like, no. The Hardwood and Balls Classic did not kill him.
Oh my
it
God.
did not, but it did. It came close to taking him out.
7 minutes into Monday's show. What? I already want to leave.
No,
It is leave your work early day, right?
Yeah, it's National Leave the Office Early Day.
Well, listen.
Are you
folks.
ready to head out?
Yeah, 7 minutes feels like enough.
But you throw the ball 70 miles per hour.
I don't know.
You
Guys, I brought it up randomly,
But-
facetiously, whatever that word is.
It's early. It's really early in the morning. Listen,
let's go with
I
that.
currently have a broken leg. Like,
Mm.
come on.
he's
What,
all,
what are we doing?
I tell this
Why
to
are we doing
my
this?
kids all the time. Let's not live in the I can't world. Let's live in the I can world. Let's just shave off that apostrophe T and let's turn this day around for you. Now, you're right. You have a bum wheel, but there are a lot of things you can do that you couldn't do a week ago,
That's
like
true.
walk, for example. Now you're walking. Last week you were scooting.
You were.
I figure in 2 weeks you'll be able to throw 70 again.
Yeah.
All right, champ.
And actually, in 2.5 weeks, you got to swing a golf club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
Are we allowed to talk about this yet?
Oh, I think
Yeah,
so.
pull
Listen,
up that email.
so
Oh God,
pull
where
up
am
the
I?
email.
Where am I
We'll
going to
talk-
find that?
So Jesse Lozano, who knows? Jesse Lozano, I mean, honestly, Jesse Lozano, who's a host on Star 94.1. You know him from Jesse and Tati in the morning. Really fun guy. Tati, really fun gal. And Shelly Brown, you've heard her voice on this show many times as one of our celebrity mixologists. That show is going on at the same time our show is every single morning here at iHeart San Diego. So we pass by each other in the hallway. Well, Jesse one day kicked in the door and was like, y'all like to golf? And we're like, yeah. And he goes, well, you want to golf in my tournament? And we went, sure. And then he said, okay, you guys can set up a tent and even broadcast from there. And we said,
Sweet.
done.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's a Friday, June 21st. It's coming up here pretty quickly. We're going to have some giveaways leading up to the event. And then we're going to tee off. And we may even have a fifth golfer as our fifth wheel on the carts, or I guess you would call it a caravan,
Right.
as we make our way through the.
Right.
So we might have a celebrity influencer fifth golfer with us, but the crew's going to be you, me, Fletch, and then we're going to have Shelly Brown, producer of Star 94.1,
Right.
jumping in our foursome.
So just to catch everybody up, it's happening Friday, June 21st, 9 a.m. Shotgun start at the Links at the Lake House in San Marcos. And this is to raise funds for high school athletics in San Diego. Over $150,000 in uniforms and equipment donated since 2014. Now we're going to have five $50 qualifying gift cards to OG's Pizza. When you qualify, that puts you in the running to win one of the foursomes. Is that all correct? All right.
Wow.
We did it. Yeah. So we're going to have a couple of those to give away. It's going to be sick.
Yeah.
And I
really
do
looking forward
believe
to that.
the foursome that we give away tees off either right before us or right after us. So you'll hear us the entire time because we're not exactly quiet golfers.
Oh,
What?
No, we're not. And as a matter of fact, my guess is chances are we're going to drink many beers, cervezas.
Mhm.
I'm bringing the shot fund. We're finding a can that can fit in
It's
there.
happening.
Well, we know a can
Well, yeah,
that
we
will
know,
fit,
yeah.
and it
Yeah.
happens to be your favorite.
Yo,
And well, let's actually have two favorites. You have Busch Light and your Bud Light, and you chose that in a blind light beer taste
Okay,
test
that
we
is
did
correct.
live on air.
That is correct.
3
So-
minutes later.
We don't have to worry about the Coors Light because it's your fourth favorite.
So I did put down on the rundown some Padres positives because we talked about the negatives. You, Darvish, Joe Musgrove, both headed to the IL.
this.
They're going to be like speaking of the world of can'ts, they literally can't pitch for the next 15 days.
Right.
But Fernando's getting hot. He's 10 for his last 24 at the plate. He hit a home run.
Nando.
Yeah, you can say it, and Don can say it. Padres positive, 18 and 12 in their last 30. That's pretty huge.
Mhm.
That's great. Padres positive. If the season ended today, let's play that game. They would be in the second wild card spot.
I was looking at that.
And
So yeah,
Padres positive. I can only read half of this one that I wrote. The Angels suck.
well, that is good, but they've struggled
Yeah,
with teams who
right.
stink this season. Now, recently, it's been a better run, and hopefully that keeps up. And no better time to start getting hot than as we near the trade deadline. Because look, Peter Seidler, he was willing to spend and spend and spend and spend. AJ Preller, it seemed like he had just a blank checkbook. Go out there and make this team as good as you possibly can, AJ. Well, with this new ownership group, it doesn't feel that way. In fact, we know it doesn't, or it isn't that way, because there was a lot of talk about trimming salary, and they have. However, at the trade deadline, if this team's on a heater, like, if they have a month of June like they had a month of May, and this team, say, 5 games above 500, maybe this team is encroaching on being 7 games, close to 10 games above 500, dare I say, and you've really created a little more stir in the front office, maybe a splashy trade.
Feels like they need a starting pitcher, like, because Travis, you were bringing up the pull the injury card, right? Well, 2 guys have already pulled 2 injury cards, so they're going to need a starting pitcher, most likely 1, if not 2, to get through the end of the season, because you're not going to survive on Randy Vasquez.
Highly likely,
right?
Highly likely they're going to need to bring in at very least like a 2 starter. Somebody who can really stabilize things, because Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish, for as many gems as they've pitched so far this season, they've also had some crummy starts as well. And then mixed in there has been 2 separate stints, each of them on the IL. So not a great start to the season. And the
tweet that Kevin put out about Musgrove's injury left me feeling a little uneasy, but I'll just read it. Padres starter Joe Musgrove will go on the IL with a recurrence of the triceps elbow issue that sidelined him last month. It is not believed at this time to be a season-ending injury. Like that,
it's not believed at this time.
There's 2 qualifiers in there. Like, just something about the way it read made me feel a little like, are we talking about season ending? Was that even part of the conversation?
You're making my stomach turn, which every time that happens, I need to quickly flip to the NFL so I feel better. So we're going to be doing this in the 7:00 hour. But if you have a least interesting team in the NFL that you want to give us, and most interesting team that you want to give us in the NFL, 70470, start your message with team. Also use the talkback mic on the free iHeartRadio app. If you're listening to San Diego Sports 760, it's right next to the play button. You hit that talkback mic. You can leave us a talkback. It's like a voicemail. It comes right to a dashboard in front of Fletch. We can play those all show long. So we need your least interesting team in the NFL in the 2024 season and most interesting team. We're going to hit a halfie.
1, 2, 3.
She's a rich girl, but you've gone too far, because you know it don't matter anyway. Rich girl. You can rely on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money. It's a girl, but you go too far.
We got Daryl Hall tickets coming up on the show today. Woo! Where can they get seats and deets?
I thought we were talking Caitlin Clark. I had no idea we were giving those away.
That's awesome. Actually, Daryl Hall tickets. Buddy, if there's one thing that I pray for, it's Daryl and John to bury the hatchet.
Please.
Because I love me some Hall notes.
That's what I'm saying.
Daryl Hall, June 16th, Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater, Ticketmaster.com for deets and seats.
You ever watch live at Daryl's house?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
I absolutely have.
It is so good.
So good.
YouTube live at Daryl's house and watch anybody play with Daryl Hall at his house.
There
it's
used
crazy.
to be a channel on DirecTV, maybe it was. This was probably back in 2012 when I was playing with the Cardinals. I was addicted to that show.
It's on VH1.
It was on VH1?
Yeah.
They started rebroadcasting it on one of those channels that DirecTV just would throw up there. And I watched probably every single episode of Daryl's house.
Oh,
First of
crazy.
all, he was a fun interview.
Yeah.
And second of all, dude he could play with anybody invited over.
And it was magnificent.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. Also, thirdly, sweet house.
Yeah, little cottage in the woods.
It was awesome.
You guys want to go to this show?
Yes.
Actually, I do very much so.
So sing along.
Actually, we don't have tickets available today. You can check out Deets and Seats coming up tomorrow.
I've got no NBA until Friday?
Thursday. Yeah, which, by the way, we'll get to here in a moment.
You should start doing all WNBA scores every day.
Yes, please do. Yeah. Welcome to the jungle, buddy. You are gonna be busy.
Good.
Speaking of which,
I'll have to search a lot of team names.
I hit another Prize Picks last night, taking less than points scored on Prize Picks on WNBA.
They're starting to catch on to the algo.
I got toasted this weekend.
They did a little bit, but yeah, check this out. So here's my lineup before I get to my halfie. I had Brianna Stewart, and Caitlin Clark, both in their games. Caitlin, it was the Fever taking on the Liberty. She had 18 points she was supposed to score.
Yeah.
I took the less.
She scored 3.
She scored 3.
Barely.
Okay,
It was like 1 for 10
barely
shooting.
made that.
Brianna Stewart was supposed to score 21 and a half. She scored 13. So anyways, Richie took that all the way to the bank on Prize Picks. No big deal.
Is there a promo code?
Promo code DOGS. Dogs. Woof. Okay, so the Padres lost 4-3 yesterday to the Royals before taking their flight back to California. Not home yet, though. The Friars are going to face the Angels as they extend their road trip. It'll be Matt Waldron on the mound for the Pods. First pitch, 6:38 tonight. Do not miss it. 6:38 exactly. The New York Giants tight end Darren Waller likely to make his decision by next week's mandatory minicamp about his playing future. It is speculated that he will announce his retirement. Gable Stevenson, staying in the NFL, is an Olympic gold medalist and probably arguably one of the most dominant college wrestlers of all time. Jumping to the NFL, he signed with the Buffalo Bills. We'll have more on that story later. And then there's the NBA. The NBA just had a gentleman's sweep in the Western Conference Final, Mavs over the Timberwolves, and they had a sweep days earlier in the Eastern Conference Final, Celtics over the Pacers. And now it goes dormant for an entire week and a half before we're going to see either of these teams face each other in the final. We don't have tip-off of the NBA Finals until Thursday.
Dumb. This is dumb. It's so dumb. I mean, this makes me fall out of any excitement I had. And now maybe this changes, Wednesday evening or Thursday when I'm like, oh, we got something to do today. I got something to watch. But at the moment, I'm like, we could be right in the middle of this. I feel like the season already ended. Seems bizarre.
It's Monday, June 3rd. Monday, June, I guess it would be what? 20, I'm not good with math. 25th, 24th, Monday, June 24th. 24th. We could still be talking about the NBA Finals. Okay, it's Monday, June 3rd.
Well, we said this at the beginning of April when the playoffs began.
3 weeks later, we'll be reacting to the final game of the NBA Finals if it goes 7.
The beginning of April with the playoffs, like it was the play-in round of the playoffs, and we were like, yeah, don't worry if you're worried about missing any NBA playoff action. You got till middle of June, end of June to keep up with it. 3 months later, that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah,
it's a mistake.
It's a mistake. I agree with that. I agree with you, TD, as well. It kind of almost makes me mad. It's so dumb. The NBA has completely lost the thread. You are not the NFL. You cannot have a bye week before you start your finals. I don't really understand what we're doing here. It's really, really silly, and it showcases exactly how badly you've planned your calendar, because I think a lot of people are going to almost mentally turn the page on this season, and then all of a sudden they're going to be like, oh shoot, wait, this is still happening? Like, I mean, look, we'll pay attention to it because we're literally paid to. We're sports talk radio show hosts, but the lion's share majority of people are going to be like, oh my gosh, that's right, it wasn't done.
Yeah, but part of the problem with that is when you're comparing it to the NFL is one and done. I mean, you got one chance, you win or it's over.
Yep.
And so with the 7-game series, it's just game one. I mean, it's just game one that we're coming up to. So if you're trying to make some sort of build up over a week and a half time to have a bye week in between, it falls flat when it's just game 1 of 7.
But it's basketball. It's impossible to have a one and done tournament. Nobody's ever successfully done that. Oh wait, March Madness exists.
Yeah.
But I mean, raise the stakes.
So unfortunately, there is a logical explanation for why it's been delayed this long. It's because the Eastern and Western Conference Finals both ended so quickly. Like June 6th was always going to be the day. Like that's set in their infrastructure. I'm sure there's tons of planning that goes into it, whatever. But why can you not be a little flexible?
Well, also, why do we need so many breaks in between these games?
We don't.
I mean, the fact that the finals, once it begins, is going to take 2 weeks. It's all very, very stupid. It's the reason why the Eastern Conference, Western Conference finals would have taken so long. They would still be playing. Obviously, they're not. But the fact that it's all slated and you can't change it is also kind of silly. Like, we've seen this during the pandemic. Teams can be flexible. Leagues can be flexible. You can change things. network certainly can be flexible. If you made it so that you kept your foot on the pedal and you mashed down the accelerator during the postseason, you have 2 short series. Well, guess what? Mount up, boys. You're playing each other in 3 days. You're not getting 10 days to rest, Celtics. They're going to be off for 10 days before they play basketball again.
I'm not going to remember how to play.
I mean, dude, honestly. And they're prohibitive favorites at the sports books, by the way, which is interesting. Okay, check this out. Coming up, we've got a lot to get to. We're going to get back to basketball with LeBron James Jr. We'll do that in just a moment. I do want to give my most recent comparison. The Padres, it made me think of this weekend. Watching them, I was like, they are the friend who, when they actually show up for you, you have a great time with.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 50-50. You call them
they
up.
May not be there.
Hey, listen.
They're Trevor.
I need a ride to the party. You had a friend named Trevor.
We all have a friend named Trevor. Who is this guy?
You have a great party you want to go to. Trevor's got a car.
Pretty close to Travis.
And you say, hey, buddy. No, Travis
you're always there.
Always there.
Not if it's raining.
Not if it's raining.
Not if it's raining golf.
He's not showing up for rain golf. But other than that, he'll be there. But you call him up and you say, hey, we got a party to go to. And he's all gassed up with you. He's like, dude, it's going to be a rager. I'm driving. You get as drunk as you want. And honestly, if I start to have some beers, I'll pay for the Uber home because it's that worthwhile. And then you're standing out in your driveway and your parents are like, is he coming? And you're just like, I don't know, Mom. Well, we're going to bed soon. So if you need a ride, you need to tell us immediately. Okay, Mom. And no, Trevor's going to be here. And guess what? He never shows. Or he does sometimes, and you end up having the night of your life. But that is the San Diego Padres. They're that 50-50 friend who, when they're there, you're having a good night.
Yeah.
But when they don't show, you're bummed out, and you're hanging out watching Matlock with Mom again.
Matlock with Mom? That's what we do on Thursdays.
It's not ideal.
Okay.
Right after Porn with Friend Wednesdays. You know who does always show up for the party? And who has always been there for us, no matter what time it is. If we need to call, we can call. No matter what time it is, if we need a message, some constructive criticism, or some support.
Bush Light.
Wade and Chloe from SDFatLoss.com. They are always there for us. And they for sure were during our actual weight loss phase where we dropped each of us over 35 pounds within 2 months. That's during the reduction phase. Now we're on the maintenance phase, and Wade and Chloe's still there for us. Look, if you're haven't found a way to successfully lose weight in your life and it's been a problem you've been dealing with for a long time, give this a try. SDFatLoss.com. You'll save $200 if you mention Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. But if you go there, I promise you, at the very least, it's going to make a difference in your life. And SDFatLoss.com made a huge difference in all 3 of our lives. That huge difference coming via 35 plus pounds in just 2 months' time. And you can do it too. Look, if the 3 of us idiots can drop weight that quickly and that substantially, I promise you can as well. And it's not with any prescription drugs or any injections that you don't really know what you're putting in your body and you don't really know the side effects of. It is the natural way to lose this weight. The 3 of us did it. The 3 of us were successful at it. You can be too. I know coming up on my calendar, I have 3 weddings in the next 2 months that I have to be at, and I would like to be looking good in my suit, and that's the plan. And thanks to SDFatLoss.com, that's the reality. Get on over to SDFatLoss.com today. Save $200 when you mention Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Start losing weight the natural way. Coming up next, Rich's comparison for the San Diego Padres and their friend Trevor.
San Diego Sports 760. If you're listening on the free iHeartRadio app, forgot how to do this. It is Monday. Then make sure you hit us up on the talkback mic. While you're listening on the free app there, the free iHeartRadio app, you'll see a microphone on the lower right-hand side. Tap that mic, send us a message. Today we're asking, which teams in the NFL do you find most interesting and which ones least interesting? Hit us up on the talkback mic.
This update is presented by Duthie Power Services, the generator experts, and breaking news out of the NFL. Vikings and Justin Jefferson reaching an agreement on a 4-year, $140 million contract extension that includes $110 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Padres take 2 out of 3 from the Kansas City Royals over the weekend, winning the first 2 before falling yesterday in the series finale. Padres return to Southern California today as they start a 3-game series with the Angels in Anaheim. SoCal businesses have relied upon generator experts at Duthie Power Services for nearly 60 years for commercial and industrial generator maintenance, rentals, purchase, and installation. Secure backup power for your business at DuthiePower.com, DUTHIE Power.com.
Shh, everybody be quiet.
Everybody know.
Yeah,
Nobody speak.
listen, there's some important things happening. There we go. It's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. It's San Diego Sports 760. A lot going on today. We got Daryl Hall tickets we're going to be giving away. It's going to be at the Calcoast Credit Union Amphitheater June 16th. Ticketmaster.com for deeds and seats. Everybody's saying that now.
Everybody.
It's trending worldwide.
It's spreading throughout this building, at least.
Coming up at 8:05, our friends from Disney are going to be here in studio. We're going to be chatting with them about what they got going on out at the park.
Edna, Maud, and Gist.
Is that who's coming in?
Yeah, Edna's coming in from The Incredibles.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
So excited about that.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Wait, is this for real?
Yeah.
Sweet. That's fantastic.
Yeah. All right. Well,
And then
that's
at 8:30, we have Dr. Let me make sure I get it. I'm going to say his name wrong. I don't know how to say his last name. Dr. Andrew Nossel.
yeah, that sounds right. That's close enough.
He's a shark expert from Scripps Institute of Oceanography. He's going to be joining us as we kick off Big Rich, TD, and Fletch Shark Week due to a recent attack out in Del Mar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to take the deep dive, no pun intended, with the good doctor and give you some of the facts that you're going to need to take with you for some safe sunbathing and
That's right.
and some fun in the surf.
True story.
Yeah, go ahead.
My big sister Natalie, who's actually coming to San Diego this week, which is odd timing, is obsessed with sharks, like beyond.
So she's going to be listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
Correct. As she's en route to San Diego, but
Probably using the talkback mic.
probably.
Okay.
But when she was in college and Shark Week was really at its peak of its popularity,
Right.
on Discovery,
With Shaq.
she legitimately threatened and was not as kidding as we wanted her to be to give my brother and I cuts on our arms and throw us out into the ocean so we might attract a shark. And she made this joke enough times to where she was no longer joking about it and actually wanted to do it. And it hasn't ended yet because she's still down to do it.
She sounds nice.
She's really scary and really small.
I mean, if she's going to do that, though, can we be there?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Have you guys
we're
done
gonna
shark
need-
cage diving?
No.
Dude, it's so much fun.
Is it?
It's honestly a blast.
There was like a stat, didn't we? Felt like we talked about this about a year ago, that when you go out into the ocean, 98% of the time you're swimming within 100 yards of a shark or something
It's
like
their
that.
territory, man. If they want to mess you up, they can mess you up.
Sharks are everywhere, but they do like warmer temperature waters, so they like to swim close to the shore.
Right.
So you'll have a lot of sharks. I mean, it doesn't mean they're all great whites or they're all big enough to really inflict a tremendous amount of damage on you, but you're swimming with sharks every time you get in the water. You're close. You're within proximity of sharks
Well,
every time you get in the water.
whatever the myths are of being attacked by sharks, we're going to stamp out some of those with Dr. Andrew Nossel coming up at 8:30. Meanwhile,
Breaking news.
in the NFL, what do you got for us, Fletch?
The Vikings and Justin Jefferson reaching an agreement on a 4-year, $140 million contract extension, including $110 million guaranteed. That makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, which I believe was previously held by Aaron Donald of the Los Angeles Rams.
There you go. There you go. That's a big deal for a guy who was openly complaining about not having a quarterback. They're breaking in a brand new rookie out there in Minnesota, also Sam Darnold. So you got to do something. You either trade him to make him happy or you sign him to a giant contract to make him happy.
110 guaranteed is a lot of dough over 4 seasons. 140 was the total contract. Now, there is a trickle-down effect here because you look at when something gets reset like that, you guys use the housing market comparison for quarterbacks, but you look around the league and somebody whose career has been almost identical to Justin Jefferson is CeeDee Lamb, and they came out in the same draft class. So now Adam Schefter did this for us this morning. That he put up their stats side by side. 4 seasons, 3 All-Pros for Justin Jefferson, 2 for CeeDee Lamb, 3 Pro Bowls for Justin Jefferson, 3 for CeeDee Lamb, 392 catches for Justin Jefferson, 395 for CeeDee Lamb. Their yards are similar. CeeDee Lamb actually has more total touchdowns than Justin Jefferson. So you look, and now is this a situation where CeeDee Lamb is just banging down the door at Jerry Jones' office today, being like, "Look, he just got that. What am I getting?"
Yeah, well, I mean, it's coming. You're absolutely right about that. It doesn't matter. The reason why I make the comparison to the quarterback, or I should say, the reason why I make the comparison of quarterbacks to the housing market is because people oftentimes complain about how much quarterbacks are getting paid, and you don't hear that as much about receivers. It's less money, but you just don't hear that argument. And it's to make sense of it. There's a lot of people who can't make sense of quarterbacks getting what they get paid. Meanwhile, they can understand the housing market. Like, all they're doing is pulling comps. That's how you decide the value of your house. So that's how they decide the real estate value of quarterbacks. In the case of wide receivers, we're getting to that point too. Yeah, so now CeeDee Lamb gets to pull his comps. And he says, when my contract's due, my comparable receiver comparison is Justin Jefferson, and guess what? He just got paid. So I want more because I'm the new house that just came on the market, and he will get more because that's how this all works.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. However, I would make the argument that if you're talking about star power, maybe not in Dallas. I don't know. I mean, I take that back. I was going to say, talk about star power. Justin Jefferson, to me, has a bigger name, a bigger draw than CeeDee Lamb.
Does the name Kennedy Carter have any sort of draw or name recognition as far as you guys are concerned?
Does now.
Yeah.
As of this weekend.
Yes.
I heard that name for the first time this weekend, and I've heard it about 1.5 million times since.
If you asked me this 48 hours ago, no.
Okay.
No, that sounds like
Is it pronounced Kennedy?
Kennedy. Yeah, I'm
but
pretty
it's
sure.
spelled CH, right?
Yeah. So yeah, Kennedy Carter of the Chicago Sky during their 71-70 victory, or I should say loss to the Indiana Fever, placed a hard foul on our girl Caitlin Clark. Okay. The Iowa Hawkeye turned Indiana Fever superstar, who hasn't played anything close to a superstar, got a hard foul committed against her. That has now since been upgraded to a flagrant, as the WNBA has gone back and revisited the moment via social media, I'm sure like all of us did, and felt like they needed to undo some sort of wrong done to Caitlin Clark. So that's the story, but that's barely scratching the surface. What's happened since is almost a war. I mean, race, gender discrimination, even sexuality has come up in conversation during the course of the past 48 hours over Kennedy's brutal attack on Caitlin Clark. Look, it was a hard foul. She hip checked her into the ground. I'm not saying it's legal in basketball. It's not. I mean, Caitlin Clark
was during a dead ball, which adds more to it.
Yeah,
so it was like a dead ball play where she basically just blindsided Caitlin Clark.
She didn't see it coming. Look, she's not hurt. She's not going to miss any time with this, but it sends a strong message, in my opinion. And whether this is just a lone act or this is something that's going through the minds of a lot of WNBA players, Caitlin Clark is a lightning rod, not just amongst fans of the sport of basketball or sports fans, but also amid the players in her own locker room, but also on the sidelines and in the locker rooms across the WNBA. She was named the superstar before she even laced up her basketball shoes, and I think there's a lot of jealousy out there.
Yeah, well, and it's also she's the one with the shoe contract. She's the one with a multi-million-dollar Wheaties contract. I mean, she's the one, the face of the WNBA now. So I'm sure there's some animosity there. It just doesn't seem that surprising to me, other than you would think that there would be some sort of unwritten rule that would come down in every locker room of, look, right now, she's the golden child. Don't touch her. And here we are.
I think the fact that she's the golden child is the reason why they're touching her. Like, I kind of understand it from the perspective of, is it Kennedy Parker?
Kennedy Carter.
Kennedy Carter. Like, I do sort of understand that point of view. And she's not the only one who's taken some shots at Caitlin Clark so far this year. But I get it of the fact that, well, we've been putting our time in at the WNBA, working our ass off to be the best players we can be. And then she comes in and all of a sudden everything is different with the WNBA. All of a sudden we have publicity. All of a sudden we have chartered planes. And like, while it could be taking the argument of, well, you should be thanking her for all of that, not diminishing her by any means. I kind of get it why they would be mad, because it's not like Caitlin Clark is good. It's not like she's coming in and dominating the league. Like, I can sort of understand the animosity coming from the other side.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, jealousy is a difficult feeling to deal with. I mean, jealousy when you're a kid, some kid has a better truck on the sandbox than you do. You want it, you don't have it. And when you're a kid, you go over there and you take it from them. And then you learn, like, no, that's not how we do things. We can ask, we can share, we can play together. You know, as you get older, guys walking around with a girl that you'd like to be with. I mean, it'll eat at you sometimes, night after night after night. Get a little bit older. It happens with your profession. You watch somebody advancing in their field and you're like, it's because his uncle owns the business and blah, blah, blah. And here I am pushing paper at my desk. And gosh, wouldn't it be nice if I was driving around in that new car? And look, everybody deals with this. The difference when you're playing a sport is you actually have an opportunity to, in some way, inflict a little pain in a legal way. You know, so if you're a good defender and you're facing the Fever, you get to go and get in her head, in her face all game long if you're jealous of Caitlin Clark, and you get to make it a personal thing, but within the rules of the game. Now, Carter stepped outside the lines, but I really do think that Caitlin Clark, part of the reason why she's struggling so much is because she has this feeling, and it's tough to work in an environment like this. Nobody likes me.
Right.
Nobody likes me.
Right.
And I look, she's making tons of money for nobody to like her. And maybe part of me feels like, and so this is what the grown-up world looks like sometimes, but she's been vilified by her compatriots that she's helped since she's entered the WNBA. This season, this league's gotten more attention than it ever has, better ratings than it ever has, private charters for the first time in history. I mean, for the first time ever, 2 players have a shoe deal at the same time. I mean, this has never happened before there was a Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, and oh, look, all boats rise with the tide. So if you have more eyeballs on the WNBA and there's more tune in and they're on more channels, they're on more stations, there's more and more contracts being dealt out, these WNBA players will make more money. That will eventually happen. However, in the meantime, I do get it. I mean, I get the fact that we don't like this, that we've been over here busting our butts, and then finally Caitlin Clark steps in and now all eyeballs are on us or on her. Plus, Caitlin Clark may be struggling not just with the fact of, oh, nobody likes me around this circle here, but the fact that I'm sure that while she's out there playing, the people playing against her want to make a statement. So they're playing hard to shut down Caitlin Clark.
No question. They know that they're going to have their moment next to the sun, the warm glow of the sun, if they do something big against Caitlin Clark, or if they have a big game, or in this case, Kennedy Carter, perfectly stated by Fletch. I had no idea who she was about 48 hours ago, and now I know exactly. Not only do I know who she is, I know who she plays for, and I know what she looks like. I mean, look, I'm not saying, look, to many, she's a villain, but we know who she is now.
I didn't know the Fever was a team 3 weeks ago.
I'm
not even kidding.
Yeah.
Should Caitlin Clark turn into this and just become the heel?
Who, Caitlin Clark?
It'd be awesome.
No, she shouldn't.
Oh, it'd be great.
She just turn into this.
Yeah.
All the animosity, it just start just being the heel.
I mean,
just go full WWE.
She won't survive it.
Probably not.
I mean, she won't survive it. Honestly, she's doing everything right, and she's already getting hard fouled. And it's like week 3 of the season.
It's true.
I mean, if she starts going, all these B words, they were nothing without me, and now they've gotten everything. Can you imagine what would happen? It would be a
great.
disaster. It would be great television. It would be. Listen, we use this all the time. You can burn down a forest and make a pretty good barbecue, but there's not much left on the other side of that really fun Saturday afternoon. Holy smokes! Yeah. All right. Coming up next, we got to get to the music video that ended a football career. That's next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Daryl Hall coming to town. Woo! If you want to check out Daryl Hall, we have tickets for you coming up a little bit later in the show. Also, Talk Back Mike open. We're doing this in just about 10 minutes here. Most interesting NFL team, least interesting NFL team. If you got one or both, we'd love to hear from you. That Talkback mic is located on the free iHeartRadio app. It's right there next to the play button if you're listening to San Diego Sports 760. So check this out. Speaking of the NFL, Darren Waller is most likely not coming back to the Giants. So the Giants, who have Daniel Jones, who have an assortment of bodies around this offense that, for better or worse, did not perform well with the situation they had at quarterback last year. He's going to be down one more target, and that's Darren Waller, who is expected to be a big part of this offense, with Brian Daboll trying to recover from the season they had last year without Saquon Barkley now, who has signed as a free agent with the Philadelphia Eagles. Darren Waller expected to walk away. Now, his announcement won't come until I think they have their mandatory minicamp, but expected soon is what the article said.
Darren Waller had a couple of really awesome years in Oakland. They were still in Oakland at the time when he was playing there, and he was incredible as a tight end. It was 2 or 3 years where, in terms of fantasy drafts, it was if you didn't have Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Zach Ertz, or Darren Waller, then you didn't have a good tight end, because those were the only 4 guys who put up any sort of numbers. And then Darren Waller went to New York, and he kind of fell off the map a little bit last year. I think there were injuries, and he missed a couple weeks, and the share with Daniel Bellinger didn't really work as the Giants expected it to work. Also, Daniel Jones had a bad year. What I would say for this upcoming season, if Darren Waller is not involved in that New York Giants offense, if Saquon Barkley, because he's not there, is not there, pick up Daniel Bellinger on your fantasy drafts. He had a little bit of a breakout a couple years ago, and now last year it was the weird splitting time and also injury. Remember, Daniel Bellinger had that eye injury that was kind of crazy. But if you're looking at this year, Daniel Bellinger is going to be a sleeper.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
And he's a friend of the show, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who isn't?
Yeah, that's a good point. Daniel Bellinger was a great Aztec player. And look, underutilized in the passing game for obvious reasons during that time, because it wasn't a big part of what the Aztecs did offensively. But when he had opportunities, he made the most of them. Big, strong guy. I agree with what Fletch said. Without Darren Waller, he'll probably be their number one target, although I haven't really paid very close attention to the New York Giants offseason because it hasn't been a great one.
You got Daniel Jones crazy eyes, Saquon Barkley leaving, Darren Waller music video, and now Darren Waller retirement.
It's those have been kind of the hot storylines out of New York, which may be a little bit of a prelude to my least interesting list. Just a thought there. Here's the other thing, and this is just a public service announcement to all athletes. And I'm not saying all people who do one thing shouldn't be typecasted. Like Justin Timberlake, if he was only a musician, we would have missed out on some pretty good flicks.
Right.
Like he's a decent actor, and I'm a big Justin Timberlake fan.
He's a funny dude.
Dude.
SNL skits.
Danny Glover. Glover, good stand-up.
Yeah.
Solid stand-up. Good actor. He was basically the second lead on Community. Very funny show with Joel McHale. If you've never seen it, check it out. Danny Glover, awesome. And then he has this incredible career as a rapper, singer, musician, Childish Gambino. I mean, like, so there are people who can be like multiversed. They can.
His name's not Danny Glover.
It's Donald.
Oh, did I say Danny?
Danny Glover is the I'm too old for this.
Yeah. Sorry, Donald Glover.
Right, Donald Glover. Yes. Well,
I
did have to look it up because I'm like, wait, do they have the same name?
Donald is who I was thinking of.
No, I knew who you were thinking of. I just mixed up the names. By the way, Danny Glover, when he said that when he was too old for this was like 43.
Yeah, which I'll tell you what, I'm sneaking up on one of my 38 this year. I'm sneaking up on 40, and I honestly, I think I agree with Danny Glover.
Yeah.
But Rich, you know what you're not too old for?
Well, hang on. I just want to land this plane.
Oh, yes.
Look, we would have been robbed of Childish Gambino if we said Donald Glover was only an actor, and that's all he could do. But Darren Waller needed some people in his ear who said, you know what, I really don't think this is a smart idea, Darren, because if you haven't seen the Darren Waller music video yet, please go. I mean, seek it out. Seek it out. It is, the music's not good. The video's not good. I felt I don't even know. I felt like that secondary embarrassment. What's the cringe effect?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. So, anyways,
It's not good.
Great football player. I don't know if he's going to make it as a musician.
Well, and he was a like shining beacon of hope for a lot of NFL players who struggled with addiction. Like
Oh,
go to Darren Waller. Like
great guy.
His net positive on this earth will be positive, I do believe. But music videos and music singing could probably just stay off to the side. Prize Picks, however, is right front and center. And it was front and center for me all weekend because UFC 302 was this weekend. It was an awesome night. I wasn't a big winner on Prize Picks, but I did get my money back because I hit enough of my Prize Picks to make it matter. Richie, I know you were all weekend on WNBA scores.
Not all weekend. I'm choosy. I picked my shots and I took it this time with Caitlin Clark, who had her number set at 18 points. I took less and I hit. And then Breanna Stewart, who plays for the New York Liberty on the opposite side of this game, she was slated to have 21.5 points. Obviously, you could take the more or the less. I took the less there as well. And so those two picks, it triples the money that I put on the lineup. And so it's that easy. Look, I like 2-player lineups. Some people like to go 4, 5, 6-player lineups. You can win up to 100 times your money. That's what I love about this app, the versatility.
It's versatile. That's a good word for it. Look, I am a big fan of the 6-person lineup, and I've won a few times on it, and that's $500 wins on $20 entries. So get on over to the Prize Picks app today. Find out for yourself why it's the #1 fantasy sports app with more than 5 million active members. It's the most fun, the most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports or players. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stat projections for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Prize Picks, promo code DOGS, DOGS, as in bark, as in roadies, dogs, hangers, bangers. Get on over to the app today. Download it. Use promo code DOGS. You're going to get a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy. Hour 2, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Duthie Power Services, the generator experts. Breaking news out of the NFL this morning. Vikings and Justin Jefferson reaching an agreement on a 4-year, $140 million contract extension that includes $110 guaranteed, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Padres took 2 out of 3 from the Royals over the weekend, winning the first 2 before falling yesterday in the series finale. Padres return to Southern California today as they start a 3-game series with the Angels in Anaheim. They will be without Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish, who both find themselves on the 15-day IL. SoCal businesses have relied upon the generator experts at Duthie Power Services for nearly 60 years for commercial and industrial generator maintenance, rentals, purchase, and installation. Secure backup power for your business at duthiepower.com, DUTHIE power.com.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Happy Monday to those who celebrate. We were talking Padres. We're going to get off that train for a second. I'm sure a lot of people feel this way, but the comparison I gave this morning is Padres are that friend who, when they show up for you, they're a lot of fun, but they're a 50-50 friend, and you don't know if they're going to be there waiting in the driveway for you or if you're going to the party solo.
Right now, they're about a 51.5% friend.
Yeah, they're what? They're 2 games over 500. Look, the Padres, it's the door swings both ways with them. You have to take the good with the bad. The good is they win a series against the Royals. The bad, they lose 2 of their starting pitchers to the IL. We'll get back to that storyline. But first, let's delve into the world of the NFL. The offseason is long. We're just under 100 days away from kickoff. That first NFL Thursday night game, Chiefs, Ravens.
Why do we only get a teaser?
But let's do it. Let's get into our 3 most interesting teams and 3 least interesting teams heading into the 2024 season. If we want, we should go like one team at a time. Who wants to get us started on least interesting?
Do you want to start bottom to top or top to bottom?
Doesn't matter to me, whichever way you'd like.
Bottom to top.
Okay.
Number 3.
Okay.
Number 3 is my favorite one.
Least, that's your favorite?
I think so.
I wish she'd return my phone call. I text her 17 times a day.
That's right. Maybe that's part of the problem.
Oh, what? So this is your least interesting team of all. Oh, no. Your third least interesting team.
Least interesting team. I'll start for this.
Okay.
I would go Las Vegas Raiders are my third least interesting team.
Okay.
Because the quarterback situation is Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. Now, I like Gardner Minshew a lot. I thought Aiden O'Connell showed a couple of promising things last year. But when you have 2 quarterbacks who are kind of middling and neither one of them shows a ton of promise to ever be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, I don't find you very interesting, and I do not find the Raiders interesting at all heading into this season.
All right. What about you, TD? Who's your third least interesting team on this list?
The Washington Commanders.
Okay.
The Washington Commanders. There is really nothing about the Commanders that gets me fired up for anything. I mean, who is their quarterback right now? Driscoll?
Who is their quarterback? No, they just drafted the 2nd overall draft pick.
That's right.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
The dude that has the elbow that looks like it disconnects when he throws.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with this. I've already forgotten. I mean, they are just so nothing to me. I expect nothing from them again this season. I have zero bit of fired up about this.
Any team that has a rookie first-round quarterback gets the automatic pass for me. They can't be in the bottom of this list because I really do. I have an interest in whether or not Daniels works out for the Commanders.
I get that.
One of these quarterbacks is going to work. We just don't know which one.
By the way, new ownership, a head coach who I like. I like Dan Quinn. I'm curious to see what happens with the Commanders. The Saints. The Saints are on my list as the least interesting team. And let me tell you, it starts with Dennis Allen. It finishes with Derek Carr. Derek Carr does nothing for me anymore. I am tired of defending Derek Carr. I've done it his entire career. I've been waiting for this guy to have anything that resembles the year he had. Now it's going on 7 years ago where he was in the MVP conversation.
I want to say
for like
2016.
3/4 of a season.
That was the year he broke his leg right before the playoffs.
I'm so tired of Derek Carr. So yeah, the Saints are the
By the way,
one of, if not the most least interesting team.
Derek Carr, kind of your Padres comparison. When he shows up, he can be awesome.
You could be that guy who throws 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, and is like got an 80% completion rate. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then the next week he goes out there, he throws 3 interceptions, he throws for 150 yards. You're like, what? Yeah, Derek Carr and the Saints. Gross.
That was my number 2. So, and everything you just said is the reason why. I have very little interest in this New Orleans Saints team. And Derek Carr, I feel bad for Derek Carr in a lot of ways because it does seem like he was heading to that echelon of being one of the top quarterbacks in the league and then snapped his leg in half. Was it his leg or was it his arm?
It was his arm. Or when he broke his leg.
When he turned around and shouted to the sideline with tears streaming down his face, it's broken. It's broken.
Was it Von Miller who did it?
I don't remember.
I forget. But
I feel like it was.
But it was right before the postseason.
It was a Bronco
and the Raiders
team.
had their best year in forever, and Derek Carr was a stud, and then it all fell apart, and he hasn't been the same since.
It's broke. It's broke. It's broke. They caught it on. Yeah,
that was exactly how I was right after I broke my leg. By the way.
You were screaming it was broke. It's broke.
A lot more F words.
Well, luckily it didn't hurt your arm, which can throw 70 miles per hour.
You guys are making that a bigger deal than it ever was.
You said it.
We didn't say it. We wouldn't have known it.
Who's your number 2 least interesting team?
The Seattle Seahawks. Okay. Anybody expect the Seahawks to do anything crazy and make it at least into the postseason or far in the postseason? No.
What's the name of their head coach now?
Yeah, I was about to ask. 3, 2, 1. Name their head coach.
Mike McDonald.
It's Mike McDonald.
Yeah. Is it?
He's the former defensive coordinator with your Michigan Wolverines.
Woo!
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't expect them first. I don't expect them last. I expect them to be about a 500 team.
I expect them last in their division. I think the Cardinals, the Rams, and the 49ers are all going to be better than them. I agree with you 100%. Geno Smith, look, he didn't write back.
Yeah, he should start writing.
He should start writing. So yeah, I agree with you. They're number 2 on my list as well. I'm tired of the Seahawks.
Will Eric Hosmer be an all-star this season?
No, he will not. And my number 1 least interesting team is the Cleveland Browns. Like, I'm done over the shock and awe of the Deshaun Watson thing. Like, oh my God, he's playing quarterback again after all the sexual assault allegations. Like, I'm kind of just done with the Deshaun Watson storyline. Prove to me if you can get back to being a good quarterback. Because so far he is not since he's been back in the league. In fact, he's been often injured, and when he's playing, he hasn't been that great. I'm out on the Cleveland Browns. Like, they were interesting for 2 years, and both years they sucked. And now I'm no longer interested in them.
My number 1 is the Panthers. I mean, I'm sorry. It sucks to suck. I don't expect anything from them either. This feels like once again they're going to be in last place rolling through. They're just boring.
Okay. Mine is the New York Giants. The New York football Giants have had one of the most bizarre off seasons I've ever seen from a football team. So they're sticking with their $40 million man, Daniel Jones. Brian Daboll loses Saquon Barkley, and it looks like he's losing Darren Waller this offseason as well. So what does that leave them with? This is going to be a terrible season for the Giants. They're playing in a competitive division. We just talked about it. The Commanders just got a 2nd overall draft pick. The Dallas Cowboys win 12 games a year every single year. And the Philadelphia Eagles, even though they lose some help on the offensive line, still have one of the best offensive lines in the game. Oh, by the way, they have your running back now, and they have a much better quarterback. So the Giants, I don't see this going well for the Giants. And it was a boring offseason, especially for a New York team.
Right.
Did you do yours yet?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Panthers. Okay, happy.
Moving along.
We'll get to the most interesting next.
Well, sticking in the NFL, Vikings, Justin Jefferson, they reach agreement on a 4-year, $140 million contract extension that includes $110 million guaranteed. That went down this morning. Now you feel like CeeDee Lamb might be knocking at Jerry's door saying, hey, where's my money? Padres took 2 out of 3 from the Royals over the weekend, winning the first 2 before falling yesterday in the series finale. Kevin Acee, among others, reporting that Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish heading to the IL. Not good news. NBA Finals begin this week on Thursday. Mavericks get ready to take on the Celtics. And in the UFC, 35-year-old Dustin Poirier, absolute legend of the sport, hints at retirement after losing by submission to Islam Makhachev in the lightweight title fight Saturday night. Couldn't help but feel a little bad for Dustin after that one. And in hockey, did you guys see why the Edmonton Oilers were trending this weekend?
No.
You did not. I'm going to suggest you both open up Twitter right now and type in Edmonton Oilers girl or just Oilers girl.
Okay. I feel like Oilers girl may
cannot
bring up
believe
a
you
lot
guys
of
did not
things.
see this.
Did not see it. All right, let's see.
Oh, okay. I'm trying here.
And
okay. So I don't. Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
my gosh, I found it.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
Did you see this?
She was excited. Yeah, I saw that.
Listen, like when you are going to celebrate a victory, show them both.
All of a sudden, I'm back in on hockey. I am an Edmonton Oilers fan.
She looked like she was fully prepared for this victory.
Don't ask me what anybody's wearing in this photo. I just see one thing, and well, two things.
Well, wow. Well, I mean, if you look around the photo, it's just Oilers jerseys everywhere, and then one comes off.
Couldn't say I noticed any of that.
So, anyways,
I thought that was an Islanders game.
Edmonton Oilers will be taking on the Florida Panthers beginning on Saturday. Also, like a bye week in the Stanley Cup final. Dumb.
Oh yeah.
Back to the NFL. Okay, so we did
number 3.
our list of least interesting teams in the NFL heading into the 2024 season. How about the most interesting teams? So these are the storylines that you feel will captivate you from season opener until season end. Who wants to go for? Actually, let me jump in.
I don't know if that's how I rank this. I'm interested to see what they look like right out of the gate.
Okay, listen, if that's how you want to do it, that's how you could do it. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens as on my list, and it's because revenge. You know, I feel like this team, Lamar Jackson, the MVP year he's coming off of, I feel like this is going to be one of those seasons where it stings that you lost in the AFC Championship game, the way you lost in the AFC Championship game, a lot to prove for the Ravens. I think this is going to be a fun year to watch Baltimore.
Yeah, I agree. They were going to be on my list, and then I decided to take this in a little bit different turn as far as interesting goes, because I'm just interested to see how the team works. The Chicago Bears is my number 3 team. I want to see what Caleb Williams is going to do for this offense, for this team, and see if there is some turnaround here, because man, he's a fun watch. We'll see if that translates into the NFL, but very interested to see how this goes right from the get-go.
Bears are actually a little bit higher on my list. My list begins with the Houston Texans, and it's because of the success that C.J. Stroud had a year ago. How does that translate into year 2? Oftentimes we see the year 2 jump in NFL quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson. In his second year was probably his best year of his career, maybe outside of last season. But you look at C.J. Stroud. Can he repeat that performance? Was D'Amico Ryans for real as a head coach? I cannot wait to watch the Houston Texans this year. They were one of my favorite watches last year, even more than my own team at times. And I think C.J. Stroud is the real deal. How big of a jump can he make from year 1 to year 2?
Yeah, C.J. Stroud's tremendous. Let's move on to number 2.
Say it sexy.
Number 2.
I thought you were going to play the sound.
I was.
Number 2 is the Jets. For me, it's the Jets. Okay, Aaron Rodgers, 6 primetime games, 7 standalone games this season for the New York Jets. That's a great defense. They needed a quarterback last year. That's a great offense. They needed a quarterback last year. I'm not sold on Robert Saleh as a head coach. I think Robert Saleh is a fine defensive coordinator. I think without Aaron Rodgers, I would think a lot less of Robert Saleh, and I did a season ago. But with a great quarterback, and great quarterbacks often do this, they make a head coach look better. Look, we have no idea what D'Amico Ryans would have looked like with Bryce Young. My guess is worse than he looked like with C.J. Stroud. So in the case of Robert Saleh, this is a huge year for him.
Yeah.
If he wants to keep his job, he's got to find a way to keep Aaron Rodgers healthy. The Jets may be the biggest storyline heading into this next season.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there. But my number 2 is the Steelers. For the same reason that you rattled off why the Giants were boring, I feel like the chaos and just the uncertainty that happened out in Pittsburgh is very interesting to see how this works. I have a sneaky feeling the Steelers are actually going to be kind of good here. Now, this is the first time that we've seen Mike Tomlin actually painted into a corner, because that seat is hot, in my opinion. That seat's very hot, and it's kind of do or die. And let's see how he does, because I think Mike Tomlin is amazing. I'm curious to see how he gets all the pieces working here, and I just have a feeling it will work somehow
Well, listen, you made the comparison back to the Giants. I think the biggest difference is they did something exciting this offseason. They didn't trade for just one starting quarterback. They traded for two. They have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields on their team now. And it's like,
as we use quotes,
what?
air quotes, starting quarterbacks.
Yeah. But I mean, like, they were both starters last year and the full season. So we'll see who's the starter through the bulk of the season. I think you're right. The Steelers, very interesting team. Who you got, Fletch?
The Chicago Bears. TD did a good job laying out the reasons, but the main reason I find the Chicago Bears the most interesting is because the NFL is telling me that the Chicago Bears are the most interesting team heading into the season. That's why they're on Hard Knocks. The NFL does do a pretty good job of that. When Baker Mayfield was coming out of the draft, the Browns were on Hard Knocks. Last year, Aaron Rodgers moves over to the Jets. The Jets were on Hard Knocks. This year, the Chicago Bears make a big move on one of the can't-miss, quote-unquote, prospects. I just think this has the ultimate boom or bust potential. Like, the Chicago Bears could be terrible this year with Caleb Williams, or they could be really good this year with Caleb Williams, and that is interesting to me.
They're most likely going to be bad.
Most likely.
I mean, if you trust statistics, most first-round quarterbacks are bad. Now, there's about 40% who work out. Is Caleb going to be in that list?
Right.
Will Eric Hosmer be an all-star this season?
No, he will not.
We still don't have a number one, but we do have, in my opinion, the most interesting team going into this season, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
So here's the reason why. Just look at what's happened. The Kansas City Chiefs are officially a dynasty. They've won back-to-back Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes is back-to-back Super Bowl MVP. Travis Kelce is dating the most famous person on the planet. Okay? I mean, this team, can they three-peat? I mean, is this going to be the Jordan Bulls?
And by the way, being on top, there's story after story because there's eyeballs all over this team. But, I mean, you have their number one receiver in this massive, controversy. I was going to say massive car accident. It was a 6-car pileup that he runs from the law. I mean, there's what else? There's another
Harrison
big story.
Butker, the kicker.
Yeah, that's right. Butker. So, I mean, you have these stories that are, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're at the top of the mountain, people try to tear you down. And there's probably a little bit of invincibility feeling up there. It'll be interesting to see.
It'll be very interesting to see. And also they draft in the first round Xavier Worthy, the speedster out of Texas, who was a pretty good pass catcher there. I'm very interested to see what the Chiefs look like early in this season. That's my number one.
My number one was your number two, the Jets. The Jets. Look, last season, the entire storyline going up to the start of the season was Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. It was all over us. It was jammed down our throats. It was going to be magnificent. We got 4 plays in, and that was taken away. And then there had to be a new storyline. Insert Taylor Swift here. However, this year, we could finally see it. We could finally see what Aaron Rodgers is going to look like as a Jet. Hopefully, I want to see it. I'm very curious what happens there and if it works.
The Jets almost made my least interesting list.
Wow.
Really?
Probably a bad call on
Number
my part.
one is the 49ers.
No, it's not. I was going to say that jokingly, but thank you for filling it in.
Good.
My number one, and I'm going to say it and I'm going to duck, is the Los Angeles Chargers. As San Diego throws things my way. But I do find them fascinating going into this year, man. It's like they kind of threw caution to the wind in the wide receiver room, but then they've made a couple of additions to it here as the offseason continues. And I think Jim Harbaugh being in that locker room, in that manager's office, in the coach's office in the NFL, I think it's going to work, man. And I find the Chargers wildly fascinating heading into this year. I see a playoff berth coming for, is that Justin Herbert's second time in his career in the playoffs? I think it's going to work this year.
Yeah. I think the Chargers are a fascinating team. What's interesting about the NFL, when you really think about this, and this is true only of the NFL, there are a lot more interesting teams than there are uninteresting teams. Yeah. Like, I mean, let's put it this way. Just think about baseball, just for a second as a thought exercise. Think about teams that just don't exist in your brain. There are a bunch of them. Right? Like for example, for me, like if the Rockies weren't in the Padres division, I would never think about the Colorado Rockies. They're a nothing. They're nobodies to me.
Right.
You know, if Blake Snell was never traded from Tampa Bay, I would never think about the Rays ever at all. I mean, there's a bunch of teams in Major League Baseball who just don't register. In NHL, forget about it. I mean, the Ottawa Senators, the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, are we ever? I mean, the Edmonton Oilers I barely think about until I see breasts in the stands.
Now all of a sudden, huge fan.
Yeah, huge fan. Honestly, huge fan. I mean, in the NBA, the Charlotte Hornets. I mean, are you ever spending time thinking about the Washington Wizards? But in the NFL, there are so few teams that just completely fall off the register altogether
And
because
all three teams on my bottom list, I had the Raiders, the Browns, and the Saints. Can't wait to watch all three of them this upcoming season.
What's crazy is like the NFL has cornered the market. They found a way to create storylines with every single one of the 32 teams where if you're not keeping up on it, you feel like you're missing out. It's crazy. They've done a great job.
And they've done a great job with that any given Sunday, attitude of and really, I mean, they've done a great job of making teams competitive here that shouldn't be competitive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Coming up next, because we ran out of time this segment, we'll do our morning monologues. We'll give our thoughts. Well, mine specifically is going to be on something that happened that I think needs to be fixed in a big way, and hopefully it is soon. We'll get to that. But first, want to talk to you about my night on Prize Picks. Goodness gracious.
Oh, yeah, dude.
The WNBA has been a windfall for me this basketball season. I haven't watched a single WNBA game yet. That is the truth. Not a single full game. But I'm counting on my. Do you have any idea how many WNBA lineups
At
that
least
I've won
7
on?
or 8.
It's unbelievable.
I got scores coming up next halftime.
Oh,
yeah. So buckle up.
The New York Liberty played the Fever yesterday. Breanna Stewart on the Liberty side, she was due for 21 and a half. I took less there. Caitlin Clark was due for 18. I took less there. I hit on a 2-player lineup and I won triple my money. It's that simple on the Prize Picks app. All you have to do is sign up with promo code DOGS and they'll match your deposit up to $100.
And that's why Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. More than 5 million active members. And I took advantage of Flex Friday on Friday. I knew UFC 302 was coming up, so I submitted a $20 entry on Flex Friday, meaning if my lineup did not win, I was going to get that $20 back in promo funds. And that's exactly what happened because my lineup did not win because of stupid what's his name? Sean Strickland not finishing that fight before it needed to be finished. But Prize Picks is awesome. It had me locked in to the entirety of UFC 302, and I was sending you guys updates as it was going.
Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 fantasy sports app. And I've experienced this all. I've talked about it. I've done esports in the middle of the night, Korean baseball, darts. Fletch has talked ceaselessly about darts. The amount of dart talk that happens on this show at show breaks, ridiculous. But so you don't even have to stay on like the well-worn grooves and paths. You can wander off. You don't just have to stay on NBA. You don't have to just stay on NFL. You don't have to stay on baseball. You can go into the obscure cricket for
power slap. I'm just going through literally what's available right now.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So if you haven't downloaded the Prize Picks app yet, do yourself a favor, get it. And when you do download it, sign up with promo code DOGS. That's DOGS, woof, woof. And you're going to have your first deposit matched up to $100. That's Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
This update is presented by Duthie Power Services, the generator experts. Breaking news out of the NFL this morning. The Vikings and Justin Jefferson reaching an agreement on a 4-year, $140 million contract extension that includes $110 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Padres took 2 out of 3 from the Royals over the weekend, winning the first 2 before falling yesterday in the series finale. Padres return to Southern California today. They will start a 3-game series with the Angels in Anaheim. They will be without Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish, who both have been placed on the IL. The NBA Finals begin this week on Thursday. Mavericks-Celtics Game 1. SoCal businesses have relied upon the generator experts at Duthie Power Services for nearly 60 years for commercial and industrial generator maintenance, rentals, purchase, and installation. Secure backup power for your business at DuthiePower.com, DUTHIE Power.com.
Big Rich, TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760, rolling through a Monday. We got Daryl Hall tickets coming up here in mere moments. So you don't want to go anywhere, because we will be giving those away. It's going to be out at the Cowcoast Credit Union Amphitheater June 16th, just a couple weeks away. Ticketmaster.com if you're looking for information or you're looking to purchase tickets, because maybe you don't win them here, because you can win them here if you just hang on a few more minutes.
So sometimes ideas come up when you're drunk or drinking, and they seem like really stupid ideas, but every once in a while, they're great ideas. So that brings us to the morning monologue. I guess I'll get us kicked off here, and then I'm curious what yours is, TD, especially after a weekend. And then I'm very curious to hear Fletch's, because I see it written here, hell of a career. I'm super curious.
The boys have been off the air since yesterday morning. They have
Friday.
to get this off their chest. It's the morning monologue.
Okay, so for my morning monologue, like I said, ideas come up when you're drunk or drinking that seem like really good ideas at the time, and then you wake up the next morning and somebody reminds you of something you said or agreed to.
I mean, we're all married, so we've all been there.
And you're just like, wait, what? How did this? How do we? Well, sometimes you wake up and you go, oh my God, in this stupor, I've come up with brilliance. I feel like the world needs this. And that's exactly what we all did on Friday. In our, excitement, in our buzz, we came up with the idea to start a fraternity.
Yes.
And we're going to do that. Okay, so a fraternity is a fraternity and a sorority combined. And
Did we coin that phrase?
I'm pretty sure we did. We may have to get that trademarked, but we are starting a fraternity. So we're not exactly what this fraternity is going to be named. We're not even sure where it's going to be, if it is headquartered anywhere.
It's actually already a real thing.
Oh, damn. Well, anyways, we're doing it. We're doing it too then.
Yeah.
But we are doing this. So yeah, some ideas when you're drunk, like, all of a sudden you realize you wake up and you're like, oh my God, my buddy brought an acquaintance to the bar, and I told him that I would start a popsicle business with him on Coronado Island. This is a terrible idea. I don't want to fall through with this. And I gave him my number, and he was talking about me sharing some seed money with him. Like, he's going to buy the pops, the double popsicle ones,
The molds.
and then I'm going to buy the cart, and we're just going to wander around Coronado. This is a terrible idea. I don't know why I agreed with this, but not this time. This time it's a great idea. And the three of us are going to start a fraternity. And like I said, we're in the basement right now. We haven't even poured the foundation, but we will. We will.
So you're out on my popsicle stand idea? I thought that was great.
You know what? No, we're not doing that. And I
Why
told you
not?
to stop calling me.
So,
You promised me 10 grand.
TD, what do you got?
well, first off, before we leave the fraternity idea, we were trying to come up with the name, the letters. So BCF for Bar Card Friday. The other one that you threw out there, Fletch, was Beta Tau Zeta, which would be B for Big Rich. What about R? What's R? Just Rich TD Fletch.
Beta Rich Tau Zeta.
I
can't remember what R was.
Whatever R is.
Beta Richard.
I feel like B. I mean, Big Rich, whatever. We'll work it out after the show.
I was drunk on Friday when I was doing that, man.
Either way, I think it's going to work. But check it out. Yesterday, guys, my wife, Sarah.
Beautiful woman.
in the evening. It was around maybe 7:30 or so. Sun was setting.
Wonderful person.
I get called gross.
Smart.
I was told my actions were disgusting. Okay.
Right.
I was asked, what the hell is wrong with you?
Go on.
I was also asked, do you just like showing the whole neighborhood your wiener? Guys.
Been there.
Guys. I was just doing something that was easy.
Uh-huh.
It was convenient.
Yeah.
It was freeing. Honestly, part of our animalistic behavior that hasn't been bred out of our human DNA.
Not yet.
I was chastised for peeing outside. And I'm hurt by it. Okay?
It's like a top 2P.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen to me. And Sarah, I'm sorry. I agree with almost everything you say on a daily basis, but you are wrong.
Thank you.
There's not a lot of like amazing things about being a dude these days, right? I think dudes get blamed for a lot. But one of the coolest is peeing outside.
That's what I'm saying.
Were you in your own backyard?
Yes.
No, it's
That was in
fine.
my own backyard.
No,
I was
dude.
and like,
Even if you were in your own front yard, I'd say
honestly,
it's fine.
even if you were on the side of the I-5, cars flying past you, pulled over to the shoulder,
maybe
peeing-
laws. There may be laws.
Hang on, peeing on some discarded detritus from other drivers who just chuck Gatorade bottles and maybe even, some pieces of old automobiles left strewn about. If you're peeing outside, you're doing the right thing.
Thank you. Okay, I was on the side of my house. I was in a protected area. There was a fence on one side. There was a trash can on another. I didn't think anybody could see me. All of a sudden, I hear, as I'm peeing behind me, Travis Richard Dale. I'm like, what did I do?
When you hear all three names, you know you're in trouble.
Yeah.
I also
yeah.
promise if I ever do come over to your house, I'm also going to be in your backyard.
Thank you. And you know
will
what?
pee in your backyard, Sarah Dale.
And I welcome that. Okay, I welcome that.
Yeah, women always make, or I should say wives, not all women, but wives, for whatever reason, once you get married and you have a husband, all of a sudden, when it comes to peeing outside, you're a little bit of the fun police. I can't tell you how many times I've successfully landed like a great outdoor pee. Like snuck around a wedding venue tent.
God, yeah.
Didn't want to walk all the way to the porta john too long of a line.
No.
And somehow snuck. I've done the walk and pee before.
Wow.
Have you ever done that before?
No.
Let
Don't they
me
call that a
walking?
snail trail?
Well, I mean,
Because you go backwards and you're
depending. No, you didn't. I do it going forward because I like to
knew
face.
that as something different.
I like to face my foes. Yeah, me too. No. Yeah, I mean, and then you just let it fly. Look, the point is, I've been chastised for this so many times. I've been criticized for this so many times, and it's almost always been by my wife.
Right. But you're right. Like in an outdoor wedding, you got the tent set up and then you like duck into the bushes. Like it's like you're so quick in and out off the dance floor. God, that's good.
I picked up my kid from elementary school, and when he emerged from the bushes with a guilty conscience, he said to his friend's mom, Carmichael, I won't say his real name, Carmichael peed in the bushes. And then I started laughing. I'm like, oh, wow. I'm like, that's a decision. And then I go, what about you? He goes, I did as well. and then I reacted like, I was like, all right, give me a quick fist bump. Don't do that again. And then Carmichael's mom was not pleased. And she was like, this is the third time this week. I was like, clearly Carmichael's cracked the code, man.
Carmichael's got a cool dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, Carmichael does have a cool dad. Yeah,
What's your morning monologue? You got time here. Squeeze it in.
Dustin Poirier, love you, man. Thank you for all the fights that you've given over the years. It seems like he's retiring. He didn't say for sure, but he said most likely. It was a really touching moment after UFC 302. Look, he lost in submission, but he got to the 5th round with Islam Makhachev, who's been a monster throughout his career so far. And it looked like Dustin Poirier was going to get tapped 3 times in this fight before he eventually did get tapped. It was a hell of a performance. It was a hell of a career. Dustin Poirier has been a special athlete in the United States of America, and he retires out on almost the top, but number 2 ladder.
Was it the Poirier-Makhachev fight where he opened up Makhachev's forehead pretty good?
Real good.
Yeah.
Like
bleeding everywhere.
He made Makhachev look beatable, which nobody else has been able to do throughout his career. So
I saw some of that fight, and I saw afterwards him hugging his daughter. It was really...
and the speech he gave afterwards, he was like, look, you guys know me, because he's very outwardly a pretty staunch Republican and will argue with people all the time. But after the fight, he said, look, I just want to thank the 3 women in my life who mean the most to me. And his mom, his wife, and his daughter were all right there. And everyone was crying. It was a beautiful moment. And Dustin Poirier, you've been a hell of a dude. Sorry that you're not the champ.
Wow.
Never got there.
There it is. That was a good monologue.
Yeah, that was a
3
good
different
monologue.
times Dustin Poirier fought for the lightweight title. 3 different times he lost.
Damn.
Man,
Damn,
that was
damn.
very good. Can I add one more piece to my monologue?
Please do.
Wayne and Chloe. Over
There it
Dusty
is.
Fat Loss.
There it is. I
mean,
knew it.
Golly.
I knew it.
One of the a couple of the most important people in our lives over the past several months here, as they have helped us lose about 120 pounds here as a show. 110-ish. I don't know. I mean, it's a lot. Me
And
over
let's be
31
honest,
pounds.
They are the reason why TD isn't afraid to pee in public.
That's right.
Because
that's right.
he lost 30 pounds. He gained an inch.
That is correct. And I want to show people. So when they go, whoa. And I'll go, that's right. If you go to sdfatloss.com and schedule a free consultation,
Not okay.
you too. What do you mean?
We got court dates coming up,
Come on.
but that's not because of Wayne and
No,
Chloe. That's because of
That's
Travis Dale's unfortunate. Look, the point
Yeah,
is,
look, and look, when I be outside, pants just down to my ankles,
That's
hands
right.
on my hips. You know what I mean? Because I'm proud to be an American. Listen,
That's right.
if you want to lose weight, and it's going to change your life, you drop some pounds here, 20 to 30 pounds in 2 months. I promise you're going to feel better. Guys, we're not making that up. That is, we read that in an editorial, and then we experienced it for ourselves.
That's right.
This is all legit. But listen, you're going to feel better. You're going to sleep better. The aches and pains start to go away. When you're taking 20 to 30 pounds off of your body, things just get easier. You add some years to your life. You're doing something healthy for yourself and for your family. So go to sdfatloss.com. You can lose this weight without exercising, without counting calories, without eating something you don't want to eat, and without doing some weird fad injection diet that you don't really know what you're putting in your body. I mean, we're still trying to figure out what some of these side effects are from some of these fad diets. But guess what? We know that when you stop the fad diets, you gain the weight right back and then some. And you don't do that with sdfatloss.com. You keep the weight off. That's what's been most impressive here with the whole thing. So yeah, 20 to 30 pounds in 8 weeks sounds impressive. More impressive when you keep it off the healthy way. Do it right now. sdfatloss.com. Oh, mention the show. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Save yourself $200. Go there right now, sdfatloss.com. And a gold medalist wrestler is now a Buffalo Bill. We'll talk about it next.
Big Rich, TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760.
San Diego Sports 760 and iHeartRadio present our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, the biggest music event of the year. Legendary performances from the biggest names in music and once-in-a-lifetime collaborations. We'll announce the complete lineup for this year's show, or maybe it got announced this morning. Is it this morning? Next week. I can't hear
Tomorrow.
you. Tomorrow at 5 a.m. is when we'll announce the complete lineup for this year's show and let you know how you can win tickets before they go on sale. Everything you need to know happens Tuesday morning. It says it in here. Another once-in-a-lifetime music event from the iHeartRadio peeps and San Diego Sports 760. What can Brown do for you? Ow!
So
Still got tickets to give away.
we
Should we give
definitely
the
do.
time right now?
Oh yeah, we could do that. If
Okay.
you want to win the Daryl Hall tickets, you got to call in at exactly 7:58.
I like it.
7:58. If you want to go see Daryl Hall, you got to call at 7:58. He's going to be playing June 16th at Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater. Ticketmaster.com for deets and seats. You know the deal.
What can Brown do for you?
What can Brown do for you? That's
San
old
Diego
UPS.
Sports.
Maybe it still is the
Yeah,
UPS.
I think it might still be.
Yeah, that's good.
Man, when I was in high school, I did everything I could to get this UPS guy to sell me some of his socks.
What? What?
I wanted UPS
Hang on.
socks.
Say that again. Slowly.
There was a UPS guy,
Yeah.
and I wanted some UPS socks.
Right.
So I was begging him to sell me socks. He actually got me a new pair.
Wait a second.
Thankfully.
You asked the wrong question. We heard the story the first time around.
Okay.
Why did you do that?
Because I thought it'd be cool if I had UPS socks.
Because they said UPS on them?
Yeah, they had the little UPS. They were brown and they had the UPS logo stitched in. They were awesome. I had a pair.
Have you ever gotten therapy?
You wouldn't think UPS socks were cool?
No.
Something
God.
our listeners don't know about Travis Dale is he does wear weird socks. What socks are you wearing right now?
Oh, yeah.
I just do believe they're salmon colored socks.
Those are orange.
Oh, orange, whatever.
What were the socks you were wearing on Friday?
They were the pizza delivery guy from Stranger Things.
They were canary yellow.
Yeah.
They were
The guy that smokes a bunch of weed?
Yeah, those.
Gable Stevenson is an Olympic gold medalist. He's one of the most
the Dolce on the right hand side. That song, right?
Yeah.
he's one of the most dominant college wrestlers in NCAA history, and he's gonna be a Buffalo Bill. So
Finally.
apparently there was a gold medalist. I'm not even sure in what sports by the name of Bob Hayes, who won a Super Bowl and also had an Olympic gold medal. Stevenson's trying to do the same. He's 24 years old. Look, this doesn't seem like it's going to work, but I will say I've seen it personally work. There's a guy who actually lives in the San Diego area. His name's Steve Neal. I played with him with the Patriots. He was a world champion freestyle wrestler, and he became a New England Patriot, and he won 3 Super Bowls with him.
So what do you think the best position? Like what would translate? Is it just body leverage? So that would
Probably-
lead you to believe line play, maybe?
Offensive, defensive line. He'll be a nose tackle or a guard. That's
So
basically
you got to be a big boy.
Yeah, because also I'm pretty sure he's a heavyweight. I think he wrestled 275 in college. So it's easy to pack on, say 20 more pounds, play defensive line, say 30 more pounds probably is what would be needed to play interior offensive line. But I mean, if there's any athlete who understands leverage, it is a wrestler.
Mhm.
I mean, the whole sport is about
Right.
the low man wins. Like if you get a single leg or a double leg, if you have control of somebody's lower body, you can win a wrestling match. I mean, it's similar. It's not the same, obviously, as line play in the NFL.
Bob Hayes won the gold medal in the 64 Olympics in the 100-meter and the 100-meter relay.
Oh,
So
wow.
he fast.
Yeah.
Fast.
Yeah. I wonder what position he play in the NFL.
Let's see. I did not look that
My
up.
guess is receiver.
Wide
or
receiver.
corner.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill's a track star. He still competes every once in a while in track things and wins. So it makes sense.
He's not an Olympian, though. He's not
No.
a gold medalist. I mean,
I wonder if he could be.
yeah, I don't know. Like if
It'd be
his
cool as if he was a gold medalist in like archery.
Yeah, like, can you imagine? He was like
Trap shooting.
Breakdancing.
He's really good
Yes.
bobsledder. And also he won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs.
Like, I wonder if Tyreek Hill tried. Could he be a part of the Paris Olympics coming up?
No, probably not. He's probably not that fast.
Paris?
Like,
Listener
I mean,
Paris?
he's very fast.
The Olympics
Oh,
in Paris,
no.
which people are. Oh my God! Have you guys seen the story coming out of Paris?
No.
Is it the beds?
No, it's the poop one. Okay, we'll have to get to it later. But it's about the Olympics.
Bottle in the barrel because we got Disney coming in next.
yeah. Actually, we do. Disneyland ambassador Edna Mode is going to be in studio with us. If you like The Incredibles, you're gonna love this interview.
That's right. That's right. I believe the ambassador is Raul Encino Rojas.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
So we're going to be talking with Raul.
Cannot wait to meet Raul. Cannot wait to talk about Pixar Fest, which is happening right now, all the way through until August 4th at Disneyland and California Adventure. The Disney resorts, we recently went. We had a great time. So very excited to have Disneyland in studio with us. Also, we'll get back to the Padres, and we're going to hear about the Paris Olympics and poop. That's all coming up next on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
It's hour 3, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Duthie Power Services, the generator experts. Breaking news out of the NFL this morning. The Vikings and Justin Jefferson reaching an agreement on a 4-year, $140 million contract extension. That includes $110 guaranteed, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Padres took 2 out of 3 from the Royals over the weekend, winning the first 2 before falling yesterday in the series finale. Padres return to Southern California today. They'll start a 3-game series with the Angels in Anaheim. And in hockey, the Stanley Cup final is set. Edmonton Oilers taking on the Florida Panthers beginning on Saturday. NBA finals get going Thursday. Generators aren't something you turn on each day, but when you do, they must be reliable. SoCal businesses have turned to Duthie Power for almost 60 years to keep emergency power systems maintained and serviced. See the generator experts at DuthiePower.com. That's DUTHIE power.com.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, happy Monday to those who celebrate. We are thrilled to start our hour with Disneyland.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we spent a weekend at Disneyland resorts, both at California Adventure and Disneyland. We got to stay and enjoy Pixar Fest, which is going on now through August 4th. Amazing food offerings, amazing events around both parks. You can be a part of the magic that is Disneyland anytime you like. Just go ahead and buy yourself some tickets. And that's actually a funny thing here in San Diego. It's so close, but I think a lot of people, they don't think about Disneyland. The summer's coming up and all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, what am I doing?
Yeah, right.
So you got the happiest place on earth right up the I-5. And joining us in studio right now, Raul, our Disneyland ambassador. Raul, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing so great. Thank you for having me today.
Good to have you on.
Yeah, Pixar Fest, like Rich said, now through August 4th, celebrating friendship and beyond. Man, we had a blast out there. Disneyland just does it right.
Always. It's that touch of Disney magic,
It absolutely is magic. Everything there is magic. Talk to us a little bit about Pixar Fest. What are some of the new items that people will see?
Yeah, of course. Well, it is a returning festival, but there's always something new going on at Disneyland Resort. And this time it's taken over the whole resort. So it's not just Disney California Adventure, as you mentioned, it's Disneyland Park. We also have stuff going on downtown Disney and even at the hotels. So there's a little bit of everything for the whole family to enjoy.
Yeah. Now, when was the last time Pixar Fest came through? It's been a number of years, right?
I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think it was either 2018 or 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. So the pandemic, and obviously it's great to that's the thing about it. When you go to that park, it feels like we're back in full force, and Pixar Fest was a blast. I was reading through some of the things here that you get to enjoy. I did all these things.
Yeah, I know.
What was your favorite?
The Better Together Pixar Pal Celebration Parade. That was awesome. The Pixar Pals Playtime Party at Fantasyland Theater. That was awesome because I had the kids with me. The fireworks display.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Together forever.
Oh my, that was my favorite part.
Okay.
Quick admission here. So I want to say with my children, I've been to Disneyland a half dozen times, probably 6 or 7 times. And every single night we stay all the way until fireworks. We haven't missed it yet, a single visit. I cannot help myself. Every single time at some point in the fireworks, I start crying.
Yeah.
I can't help myself.
Yeah.
No.
I'm holding my 2 boys. I have this beautiful video. My wife's taking a video of me holding both of my boys. They're 8 and 5 years old. She's over my shoulder. We're right at the train station. We're watching was it Together Forever?
Together Forever.
We're watching the fireworks display. I'm sobbing like a baby. She can't tell because I'm trying to stop before. Yeah. So I put the kids out, wipe my eyes. I'm like, all right, we should probably get back to the hotel.
What's the thing about the fireworks at Disneyland? It's not just fireworks. I mean, it's a show. It's an experience,
and it's the return of this show. But we have new scenes with new characters. So all the more recent Pixar films that we all know and love, like Luca, Onward, Soul. We even have a couple of little special surprises because there's a couple characters from Inside Out 2 that hasn't been released yet, but they are in that show as well.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Speaking of Soul, the hotel, the Pixar and Friends Hotel,
the Pixar Place Hotel.
Pixar Place Hotel has just recently opened up just a few months ago. Well, reopened, I suppose. Reimagined there. I was in the lobby and from Soul playing the piano there in the lobby.
Yeah, we got Joe Gardner there.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about magic. Everything. It just touches you. Touches your heart, takes you back to being a kid, and it's so fun to be there. So fun to see kids experiencing this. Rich, when you bring in your kids, and just the look on their faces as they experience this world there at the Disneyland Resort is absolutely magic.
Yeah, and again, Pixar Fest is only going on for a limited time. It's this summer. They wrap up August 4th, so plenty of time. But still, it's June. What is it? June 2nd already? June 3rd. June 3rd. So we're running up on 2 months, people.
I'm taking my niece and nephews this weekend.
Are you?
Yeah, we're going on Saturday.
Yeah.
So Fledge, his wife Kendall is a Disney adult. Like she's got how many sets of mouse ears?
At least 70.
70.
Does she have a whole closet for it?
It's currently our bedroom.
Okay. Oh.
And she probably has 30 bags, the backpacks,
the lounge flies.
those. And then like 5 binders full of pins that she trades. And it's a mess, but it's awesome. And she loves it. And now every time anyone in our family wants to go to either of the parks, we get the phone call that says, "Hey, can you come be like our tour guide?" So we're going this weekend with my 3 baby nieces and nephews.
That just goes to show you there's a little bit of everything for the whole family. Everyone has a child at heart, And so just being at Disneyland Resort, being able to enjoy this Pixar Fest and everything else that the resort has to offer is always just an amazing time.
Disneyland Ambassador Raul Aquino Rojas. Did I say that right?
Aquino Rojas.
Okay. God, you say it so much better than me.
Actually, say it one more time.
Yeah, Raul Aquino Rojas. You gotta roll the R.
I don't even know what to.
Yeah.
Rojas.
There you go. You got it.
Rojas. Disneyland Ambassador. How'd you become ambassador?
It was an application process, but completely honored and just over the moon to be able to represent all 35,000 cast members at the resort.
That's crazy.
We're official spokespeople for the company, and then we of course we like to say emissaries of goodwill. And that's just fancy terms for saying that if there's good news to share it, we'll be the ones to share it. And that's why I'm here today, to be able to share Pixar Fest and extend the magic outside of Disney.
That's cool. And now when you retire, does your name go on one of the glass window panes down Main Street?
You get your own brick.
Melissa.
No. Not quite. But, we're there representing such a huge storied legacy because this program started with Walt Disney himself. He selected the first ambassador in 1965, and it's continued ever since then.
That's cool. It's cool. You also brought us treats here, some Pixar Fest treats, which, by the way, we should probably just go ahead and...
In the meantime, why don't you tell us about this limited time summer ticket and hotel offer that's happening while we try these? I don't know, Pixar Fest, Disneyland.
Those are Rice Krispie treats, right?
Yeah, these are Rice Krispies.
But yeah, tell us about the limited time summertime offer.
Yeah, of course.
So good.
Right now, if you visit Disneyland.com, it actually gives you more information on all the offers that we have. Because, there's a little bit something for everybody. We do have something special for our SoCal residents here. We have a 3-day ticket offer, 1 park per day. So come out and visit us. And that's a perfect way to experience this resort, because if you're coming for the first time or this is your one time a year that you're coming, sometimes you may not be able to explore everything in one single day. So it's great to have multiple days to experience everything that the park has to offer.
Man, the if you can experience all the treats, I don't know how you can get it in a weekend. Actually, we tried. We were running, but
there's so many.
Yeah, they're perfect. Well, how does Disneyland do it? It's perfect every time. The Disneyland Resort in its entirety, downtown Disney, the hotels. I mean, by the way, you guys pipe in like the churro smells because I feel like it's everywhere. I can't stop going to the churro carts.
We had a churro count going.
Yeah.
I want to say we got up to 27 before we lost count.
That's correct.
The 3 families
That's
of ours
correct.
who showed up.
Yes.
I mean, we were there for 2 days. 27 churros. And I mean, look, it was.
By the way, day 2, I think we only had 6. So.
Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah, we might have overdone it day 1.
Well, some would say that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not. Oh, Elemental. All right. So the movie Elemental.
Yes. One of my
You
favorites.
kind of have like the fire and ice thing going on.
Yeah.
I had the margaritas.
Okay.
They have the blue one. They have the red one.
Mhm.
One's a little spicier. One's a little more refreshing. I mean, what I discovered in California Adventure is if you drink them together, it's the perfect pairing. But there was all these activations throughout the park. If you're a Pixar fan, which who isn't? My goodness, they're not only California Adventure, Disney California Adventure, but it's all over Disneyland as well. It's a full resort event again, going on until August 4th. And Raul, I mean, on behalf of Disney, we appreciate you guys having us out there because the families had a great time, but specifically we, the 3 of us, had an amazing time. So we appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm glad that you were able to come out and experience it. to your point, there's something there for the whole family, and the fact that you make these memories, I think that's the priceless portion of it.
Yeah.
You're gonna remember these stories, and with you having your kids carrying them while watching those fireworks shows, like that's gonna be something that's gonna stick with you forever.
No question about it.
You know what else sticks with me forever is the smell of the water on Pirates of the Caribbean. Gosh, I can't get enough. I tried to buy a candle during COVID that was supposed to smell like it. Not really. No, nothing can compare to the actual experience there at the Disneyland Resort. Celebrate friendship and beyond with the return of Pixar Fest at the Disneyland Resort now through August 4th. Thank you, Raul, for coming in. Appreciate you in a big way.
Thank you all so much for having us.
Man,
come visit us.
Yeah, come visit us. Come visit everyone out at the Disneyland Resort. Don't miss it. Pixar Fest. Gonna get a quick halfie here.
Oh, and by the way, if you want to see any of Pixar Fest, what it has to offer, I mean, follow Real Travis Dale on Instagram, Rich Ornberg on Instagram, Fletch Sports, on Instagram.
Or
also,
the show page.
Big Rich TD Fletch on Instagram, 101 KGB on Instagram, San Diego Sports 760 on Instagram. We posted stuff everywhere. So if you want a taste of Pixar Fest, trust me, you're not far from your next visit.
What I got are the Padres. They are absolutely on fire. Well, they lost yesterday 3-4, but they did take 2 out of 3 against the Royals over the weekend, but they've now lost Joe Musgrove. He's now on the IR with Yu Darvish, which it's probably fine.
Yeah,
no problem. Fine. Yeah, it'll be fine.
No, those guys will be back.
Yeah, no big deal. In the NFL, Justin Jefferson has agreed to a 4-year, $140 million contract extension with $110 million of that guaranteed, making him the highest paid receiver and highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. In the NHL, the Stanley Cup Finals are set. The Edmonton Oilers clinch a berth to set up a matchup against the Florida Panthers. No word on whether or not Oilers girl will be there. Something tells me she will. Yeah, if not, Fletch is there. Wow.
We are going to keep a close eye on that.
Right. We will keep everyone abreast on the situation.
Thank you.
In the WNBA.
That was a good one. No lap. No lap. That was a good one. No lap for that one.
Come on.
That was a really
I
good
said
one.
it with confidence?
You did.
Wow.
I'll tell you what. It was punny and sharp and quick-witted.
All right, we can say no lap because I feel like you're going to rack up 3 or 4 with the WNBA
Oh,
scores.
no, these are all solid, Fletch. In the WNBA, the Sun weavered the dream 69-50.
Your dream.
That's correct. That's correct. The Mercury Summertime Blues, the Sparks 87-68. The Lynx Buffalo Wilded the Wings 87-76. And the Liberty gave the prescription of cowbell to the Fever 104-68. Good God.
I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe it's just the Pixar Fest Rice Krispie treats talking, but I don't think you have to run a lap.
Thank you. Thank you. Those all felt better to me. Those all felt better. New names. I've got a whole plethora of, although who decided the Sun? Like you have the Suns and they go, I don't know. How about just singularize it?
Yeah. I mean, there is only one.
Yeah. What town are they in?
No idea.
Connecticut Sun?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem to make sense at all.
I don't think there's a lot of sunshine in Connecticut.
I'll tell you right now, I'm going to be visiting Connecticut. My sister lives out there. The sun shines for like 2 months a year. That's the truth.
I like it when people bring Rice Krispie treats in.
Same. Those are really good Rice Krispie treats.
Dude, Pixar Fest was awesome. But then the fact that they came back in with treats for us, that's even better.
Yeah,
and we got to see Melissa, who's like our favorite person.
God, she's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
She's awesome.
She was so nice. You know, she watched the entire fireworks show with me.
Wow.
Because she wanted to make sure I got out of there with the wheelchair accessible area and that I didn't get mashed by the horde.
The first thing she said in the hallway was, how are you doing with your scooter? And I said, who cares?
All right, now you get a lap.
Wait, you're the one dealing out the laps.
So you mentioned it on the update. Padres have 2 pitchers now on IL. So there's the really bad news. The other bad news is they also lost yesterday. The third piece of bad news that we have to get into is the Padres now won the series. So you know what that means. Like, I mean, it almost feels they're 2 games above 500.
And they're playing a bad team next.
So what does that mean? Let's put all the pieces together.
Sweep.
They're going to get swept by the Angels. And this is the worst feeling ever.
Right.
How does this happen to us? So, look, the Padres, the way I described them earlier in the show, and I didn't get if you guys agreed with it or not, but they're like this 50-50 friend. Like, every time you hang out with them, they're a great time, and you really enjoy it. Honestly, you do. But then there are just those moments where they leave you high and dry. They say they're going to meet you at the bar. They don't. They say they're going to pick you up for the party. They don't. You know, every time you go out together, you have a great time with them. But the Padres are that friend, that 50-50 friend where, look, you want to have them in your wedding party because they bring the thunder every time they show up. But you're like, you know what? I can't trust Jake. I can't trust him to be even make the wedding. So even if he buys the groomsman suit, it's not a guarantee he's going to show up on the day.
What sucks is it's a perfect comparison. It's exactly what the Padres are. Now, the problem is that's who they are when they're at home.
Yeah.
When they're here, that's who they are. So maybe out in Anaheim, look, they're 2 games above 500. Maybe they get 2 out of 3 here, and all of a sudden they're 3 games above 500 before they come home, and they keep working that. You know, you're always if you lose a couple at home, but you win a couple away, all of a sudden the end of the season comes around and you're 4 or 5 above 500. Look, the Padres are not sitting in a bad position right now.
No,
other than the injured list. That's not a good position.
It's a problem, but I would argue, and TD, you made the argument about pulling the injury cards at certain times a year. I'd argue this is not a bad time because of how close you are to the trade deadline. Like, that's coming up in a few weeks here. And if you have an understanding going into the trade deadline that you're going to need to add some pitching to this roster, which I think they do. I don't think there's a doubt in the world. They need to add 1, maybe 2 starting pitchers. It's a good time to have this all happen.
Yeah.
It's not a good time to lose Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish. That's never the case.
No.
But it is a good time in terms of you know what you need to add.
You know what I feel like when I'm eating these Rice Krispie treats from Pixar Fest?
What's that?
Like they said, hey, it's supposed to be 1 stick of butter. And they went, we should do 3.
Yeah, we're going to do as many sticks of butter as we want. You could do it your way. This is the way we do it. Those were really good.
Delicious.
I'm fairly sure calorie free. I'm curious what people feel about this recent record. So through the past 30, they're 18-12.
Fantastic.
Which would make you feel pretty good about the future for the Padres. The problem is what we just pointed out. I mean, Fernando Tatis Jr. and Machado still kind of laying dormant on this season, have not.
Nando's heating up.
Yeah, maybe. We've said that before.
10 out of his last 24 plate appearappearances,
10
not
out of
including
his
walks.
last 24 plate appearances, nothing. That is
10 hits in those 24.
that is 4 games worth of at-bats,
No,
maybe
the
5.
Walks are included, so it's more like 6.
Yeah, that's not good. So what I need is a heftier sample size where he is good. Fernando Tatis Jr. has been terrible for who he is and also, honestly, for his position throughout the majority of the season. So he's laid dormant for most of the year. Manny Machado has been bad compared to, again, third baseman around the league and to his standards. Xander Bogaerts is on the IL. He'll be gone until August at the earliest. Like, the biggest paid bats in your lineup have underperformed so far this season. Now, the guys who have really buoyed that number we just threw out there, 18-12 through the last 30 games, have been guys like Profar, have been guys like Solano, who have filled in and gotten starts when guys have been banged up and stuff. It's not good to rely on these players because at some point they may slump. And if your stars don't show up, this gets ugly. So do you trust 18-12 or do you feel like this is the exception that proves the rule?
I don't trust this at all. I'm not any of it, but I haven't trusted the Padres in about a season worth of time now. It was about this time last season where you went, I guess this is who they are. They're a 500 baseball team. Man, you are absolutely correct, Rich, that you can't lean on these players that are playing so above their pay grade, because you would think that at some point that's going to taper off and they are going to play about what their pay grade is. In the meantime, hats off to them. I mean, Profar out there just killing it. Thank you, because Profar, Solano, Arraez,
Arraez has been amazing.
So these guys are the reason the Padres are 2 games over 500, not the superstars on the team. So Come on. I mean, there is not one bit of me that feels like Fernando is heating up. There's not. And maybe he is. Maybe it's actually happening. You're going to have to give me a bigger sample size before I start to rely on the fact that Nando is becoming the Nando of old.
Not to add to the bad news, Arise did leave the game yesterday with an injury. He said post-game that he'll be back for today's game. We'll see what that actually means. The bigger issue I have with the Royals series and the Padres.
Did he say, I'll be back? Oh, God, I hope he did.
I don't remember.
It's so cool.
Like, are you making a Terminator thing?
Yeah, but
Is that
how
what you're
cool
trying
would
to
it
do?
be like if he just turned around in the locker room? I'll be back.
He said he'll be playing today.
But he said it in like a
Take it for what you want.
like almost like a Belgian accent.
Here's
I'll
the
be
concern
back.
for the Padres. On Friday, they had this incredible inning. It was late in the game, maybe the 8th inning, where they had like 11 hits in one inning. It was awesome. But then the bullpen turns around and gives up that lead, and they end up going into the 9th and have to use Suarez. So then you look at yesterday's game, Suarez not available in the game, and they end up blowing a late lead in that one. 3 runs in the 9th inning. It's like the middle relievers are a problem on this team, and they haven't quite figured out the rotation. It's like you got the end of your rotation in terms of bullpen figured out with Suarez and Estrada. Just what's happening in the middle of that. And so far, it's been a struggle. And if you look at the next few weeks, they're going to rely on that middle part of the bullpen because you're down 2 starting pitchers to really make some moves here. And if they're not going to be able to do it, then that record could easily flip.
Yeah, there's so many things where they are skating on thin ice. The lineup, the issues we discussed there. You have injuries in the lineup. You have injuries in the pitching staff. You have guys who are showing up on certain days to the ballpark and they're great. And then there are certain days they show up and they stink. I mean, there isn't a single player on this roster, maybe actually 2. I would say Profar and Arise have been the only 2 players on this roster who have consistently delivered this season so far. Profar kind of feels like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Arise may be this good. Arise, we've never seen this before. We've never seen a player put on a Padres uniform and be this effective to start his career with the Padres.
You mentioned Solano, just south of Solano, Del Mar.
That's right. That's right.
Or was it shark bite? Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday.
It was over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, we have the insight that you're going to need to protect yourself this summer. That's right.
Right.
When
This is the start of Shark Week.
When TD sent us that link yesterday, I was
so
like, I
excited.
promise you within the next 5 minutes, he's going to tell us we're interviewing someone.
And it's
And
going to
sure enough,
be Dr. Andrew Nozal from Scripps Institute of
Sounds like
Oceanography.
you're making that up.
No.
Knows all. Yeah.
No, he does.
He knows all about sharks.
Dr. Nozal is going to join us. He's an actual shark expert from right here in San Diego, and he's going to tell you how to avoid to be the next statistic, okay? If you're swimming in the Pacific this year, and I know many of you are planning on it, you're going to want to listen to this interview coming up next with Dr. Nozal. Before we do that, look, having your leg bitten off by a shark, easy way to lose weight. I wouldn't suggest it.
That's a quick way.
Go to sdfatloss.com and you're going to get great advice on how to lose weight. So yeah, look, an amputation, we get it. You could lose like 40 pounds. I bet you one of my thighs alone probably weighs somewhere around 35 to 25 pounds. I don't want to lose a
so?
thigh.
Like a rich drumstick?
Look at this sucker.
Look, yeah, that's
like-
probably is a 40-pounder.
That's like the whole leg for sure. Sure.
Yeah, easily.
I mean,
easily.
And then forget about it. If we're gonna hack it off at the hip, you include one butt cheek. Woo! But the point is,
one butt cheek is like a 25-pound bowling ball.
I want to keep my legs. Okay,
Oh, right.
I want to lose weight the right way, the natural way.
Right.
Okay, I want to do it with Wayne and Chloe at sdfatloss.com. The way the 3 of us did. TD, he's lost over 30 pounds.
Thank you.
He's gained an inch.
Yes. What is that motion that you were making?
Yeah.
What? Oh, my God.
Very aggressive.
This is a family-friendly show.
Super aggressive. We just interviewed Disneyland. Super aggressive from Fletch, who lost over 45 pounds. Look at this guy.
Golly.
I mean, he barely fits into his beard anymore.
Right?
I mean,
What
it's
is that?
crazy.
That medium shirt, all of a sudden, whew, God, he slipped right into that.
Yeah. No big deal. That used to be a scuba shirt.
Yep. That's right.
Dr. knows all. Anyways, look, the point is, sdfatloss.com, they do it the natural way. You lose weight the right way by changing your lifestyle. It's not any weird injections or drugs you take. You're not counting points of calories. You're not exercising. I mean, what a bummer it is. Like, you're doing all the work in the kitchen, but then you're being forced onto the treadmill, not with SDFatLoss.com. You're going to do this the right way. It's going to change your life just like it changed ours. That's SDFatLoss.com. And if you subscribe now at sign up, you mentioned Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, you save $200. That easy. SDFatLoss.com.
This update presented by Duthie Power Services, the generator experts. Breaking news of the NFL this morning. The Vikings and Justin Jefferson reaching an agreement on a 4-year, $140 million contract extension, including $110 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Padres took 2 out of 3 from the Royals over the weekend, winning the first 2 before falling yesterday in the series finale. Pods will return to Southern California today. They got a 3-game series with the Angels in Anaheim. They'll be without Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish for a little bit as both players find themselves on the IL. Why have SoCal businesses relied on the generator experts at Duthie Power for nearly 60 years? Well, because Duthie Power offers safety and quality assurance. Put your emergency backup power in the hands of a reliable partner at DuthiePower.com, DUTHIE Power.com.
So over the weekend out in Del Mar, actually, in fact, as of right now, the beach out in Del Mar closed down because there was a man attacked by a shark. Apparently participating in a group swim. 46-year-old man who was out there with about a dozen other swimmers. This is something that they do on the reg as they train out there, and a shark bit him.
Do we know the name of the gentleman?
We do not know, at least in this particular article, we don't know the name of the gentleman. However, he was bit in his arm, his hand, and his torso. He was rushed to the hospital. They're saying that the injuries are not life-threatening, which is great.
Do we know the name of the shark?
I think it was Steve. However, we brought an expert in. We can ask him that question. Dr. Andy Nosel. I think I said that correctly. Doctor, yeah, fantastic. Hey, thank you so much for joining us here. Now, you are a shark expert from the Scripps Institute of Oceanography. So, of course, we're a sports show, and we thought we should talk sharks to kick off Shark Week here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. But how are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
So you are a shark expert. You are the most well-versed person I know about sharks. What makes the shark attack out there? Like, why did this guy get attacked over the other dozen people who are out there with him?
You know, these sorts of things are just so rare. I mean, I'm even hesitant to use the word attack because I think it implies a kind of intent on the shark. And really what I think this is, it's a tragic accident. Nobody really knows why sharks bite people, but the best hypothesis we have is that it's a case of mistaken identity. These sharks are trying to typically eat marine mammals. And, given the right circumstances, the right lighting, maybe it's kind of murky in the water, a person just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they maybe look like what the shark is typically trying to eat.
This is a fascinating thing that comes up every single year at one point or another. I don't know if it happens every year in San Diego. Doc, what's the best way to avoid being attacked by a shark?
Well, I mean, the sharks are most active typically around sunrise, sunset. And the best thing you can do is to be with other people so that if in the unlikely event that you are bit, you have the best chance of survival because there's other people around with you who can help you, get you to shore, get you to medical aid. It's good to not swim at sunrise, at sunset. If the water's kind of murky, probably better not to be in the water. And if you see a lot of fish swimming around you, like you don't want to be in the middle of a bait ball, for instance, because that's where predatory fishes like sharks tend to be eating. And you don't want to be, again, in the wrong place at the wrong time. Other than that, there's not a whole lot you can do. We just have to realize that the odds of being bit by a shark are so small, way smaller than, being in a car crash. And we just have to kind of play the odds just like we do every day. We shouldn't be afraid. We shouldn't be more afraid of being in the water than we are getting in our car and driving to work every day.
I think sharks are the coolest freaking animals on the planet, and we have a ton of them in San Diego. What are the most dominant species here in San Diego of shark that I personally don't feel the urge to go that far out of the ocean because I don't want to get in their territory, but what sharks are out there?
Yeah, so we have well over a dozen species that are very common off the coastline. Many of them are totally harmless to people. So ones that people are probably most familiar with would be like leopard sharks, horn sharks, soup fin sharks. These are all very common. They're mostly fish eaters. They're not posing any threat to people. Really, the only species that can potentially hurt a person is a great white. And in Southern California, we mostly have juvenile great whites. This is a known nursery area for white sharks. Occasionally, we do have an adult that will be cruising by, but typically they're found farther north in cooler waters. And, usually what I try to tell people is that, we often hear this phrase, shark-infested waters, but that kind of implies the sharks don't belong there. And of course they do. You can't infest your own home, right?
It's like human-infested waters is more like it.
That's right. And so the fact that we have sharks off our water, that's a sign that the ocean is healthy. And it's something that, we should celebrate, actually. And, certainly give sharks their space and respect, and remember that we are visitors when we get into the water. And, there's always a risk, but it's a very small one. And we got to keep that in perspective.
Dr. Andy Nosel, shark expert from Scripps Institute of Oceanography. Doctor, there's a myth that every time you go in the ocean, there is a 98% chance there's a shark swimming near you. Is that a real myth?
As someone who goes in the water a lot and someone who tries to actually purposefully fish for sharks so that I can tag them and track them and understand their movement, I've had plenty of days where I get totally skunked out there and I don't get any sharks. So it's 98% is probably high, but certainly there are always sharks swimming by us, and including great whites. And the fact that we don't see these kinds of, shark bite incidents more often, that's a testament to the fact that we are not on the shark's menu and that these are tragic accidents when they do happen.
So, Doc, if you do get attacked by a shark in the unfortunate circumstance that this can happen and does, what do you do?
Yeah, I often hear people say, oh, you got to punch the shark in the nose. Well, there's a reason that people do underwater aerobics, because that's actually kind of a hard thing to do, right? Punching and moving underwater. So, if you can, I guess that's great. But if you have the wherewithal to do something, if you're being bit by a shark, I would actually try to poke the shark in the eye or grab at its gills. Those are the two most sensitive areas, and the shark is not going to be expecting its prey to be fighting back. So almost certainly it's going to let go when that happens. But usually these kinds of bites, it's a bite and it's a let go. Because when the shark bites into you, it almost immediately realizes this is not what it thought it was.
I've said this many times. You touch my gills, I'm letting go of whatever I got my hands on. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have the wherewithal, just fight back. Anything you can do is probably better than nothing.
Doc, do we know what kind of shark bit this individual? Was it Saturday? Is that when it occurred?
Yeah, I think it was yesterday morning. I haven't been involved with the investigation. I haven't seen the bites, the marks or anything like that. But just historically, it's almost certainly going to be a great white. We have mostly juveniles off the coast of San Diego because it's a nursery area. So that's going to be great whites in between about 4 to 8 feet. And those are mostly fish eaters. So those are not going to be posing a big threat to people. So most likely, if this was a white shark that bit this man, it would have been an adult, probably 8 to 10 feet plus. And at that size, they transition into maturity and they're starting to focus on marine mammals. And so that's when they pose the biggest threat to people. The only other shark that might potentially hurt a person would be like a 7-gill shark. But from what I understand, those are mostly like spearfishers that tend to get harassed by one of these sharks. If you catch a fish and you've got a fish, right? You want to take this to shore because you're going to eat it. Well, if a 7-gill shark kind of comes by you and wants to steal that fish, sometimes the person gets in the way. So just looking at everything, this was probably a white shark that bit this guy. So yeah, they're part of our local marine ecosystem. It's just the way it is, unfortunately.
Doc, Sharknado. What do you think? If Sharknado occurs, Fletcher's already telling me I have to take a lap for this question. I just didn't know. Would that be the worst case scenario for humanity should Sharknado take place?
How possible is
exactly
Sharknado, Doctor?
Yeah, well, we had Hurricane Hillary last year. We thought that was maybe going to be a Sharknado, but that turned out to be a bust. So Yeah, that's probably a lot of hype. Although there's been like 6 or 7 Sharknado movies, so it's
Right?
people,
Have they
give the
consulted
people
you?
what they want. That's what they want.
Have they consulted you for shark expertise for Sharknado 7?
Yeah. Well, no, I probably wouldn't be too helpful. They don't want to hear from me. I'm going to have a lot of negative things to say in those consultations.
Doc, you're incredible. We appreciate your time. This was informative, helpful to a lot of people. There's a lot of misinformation out there. I mean, we got most of our information about sharks from Sharknado 1 through 6. Right. So until today, you were preaching to the ignorant.
But I mean, after the beach opens, it's still safe to go swim, right?
You know what? Just follow what the lifeguards are saying. I mean, closing the beach, they're acting out of an abundance of caution. That's the right thing to do, just to give the shark space, let it get out of that area, hopefully. So once the beach opens, I would say it's going to be like any other day. You got to exercise caution. Don't do something dumb. Follow the lifeguards' instructions, and don't swim alone. Be with other people.
All right. There it is. Dr. Andrew Nozel, shark expert from Scripps Institute of Oceanography and the show's new best friend. We will call upon you soon, my friend.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
There he goes. Dr. Andrew on sharks. I'll tell you right now, the one thing I wasn't expecting this morning is to see one of the three of us in a shark cage.
Right. Well, allegedly, because once again, Fletch has sent us a photograph of himself.
Of him.
Is in a shark cage. Every photo that we have ever been sent by Fletch doing something athletic, you can't see his face.
Yeah.
So
this is no different.
Yeah. So he says, I'm the one in white in a shark cage. There's bubbles all around the face of this individual. We would never know.
I couldn't even tell you the gender of the person that is in this picture. Here's the reality, Fletch. I want to believe, but this sort of feels like Bigfoot. If you showed me a picture and said, dude, Bigfoot shark dives, I would have the same reaction. I'd be like, nah, I don't know if that's Bigfoot.
You're right. We should just ask like a legit scientist about Sharknado 7.
I thought that was a good question. And I thought that TD's question was valid. And I thought my follow-up was valid as well.
Wait, the people need to know
the likelihood of a Sharknado. And he actually referenced Hurricane Hillary, and he said, we were worried.
We dodged a bullet.
That's what I heard from him. He said, everybody bought batteries and flashlights, but nobody bought shark insurance.
That's true.
I mean, miles inland, if a Sharknado lands in Poway, what are you going to do?
You're done for, pal.
And when you're done, son, you're done, son. Anyways, perfect segue to talk to you about Ocean View Dental. Sharks have tons of teeth. Okay?
And you can probably see them from the dentist chair.
There's no question about it. At Ocean View Dental, you have a view of the Pacific Ocean while you're getting your teeth cleaning. Maybe you got to have a cavity fix. Maybe you have some serious oral surgery going on. Either way, you'll be able to observe the beaches off Oceanside and make sure that everybody's safe. I mean, that could be your job.
I can't wait.
I'll tell you right now, most of the times when I go to Ocean View Dental, I'm wearing red trunks. And I am one smear of zinc oxide away from running down to the beach and saving a life. That's how close you are to the water.
You go shirtless at the dentist office?
They don't like it, but I do. I go no shirt, red bathing suit, and flops. And they say, look, the most aggressive part of this outfit is the fact that you have like your chest hair out while we're drilling into your mouth. I'm like, listen, if the people need me, I'm gone.
Yeah. I mean, they still put a bib on you.
We'll finish this later. And they do. They always apply the bib. Look, they're professionals. And so am I. I handle this as best I can. And I run to the beach when needed. Look, the point is, if you need a great dentist, Dr. Jordan Colby is your guy. He's at Ocean View Dental. The family atmosphere, you've heard me talk about, it's incredible. The whole family goes. I appreciate the warmth that we receive from their reception staff, from the dentists who work in this office, and especially Dr. Jordan Colby, who's become a friend through the process of getting new teeth. I needed 3 implants put in. I needed an extraction done before he put in these 3 implants. He got this whole thing done for me in 3 months. I was told it would take 18 months. I mean, it was ridiculous what I was hearing from my former dentist, and that's the reason why He's my former dentist, and now I've moved on to Dr. Jordan Colby. So if you too are looking for a new dentist, look no further than Ocean View Dental. Check them out at oceanviewdental.net. That's oceanviewdental.net.
Stay connected with San Diego Sports 760 no matter where you are. Whether you're stepping out of your car or settling at home, just command your Google or Alexa smart speaker to play AM60 or use the free iHeart app for seamless listening. It's like having your favorite station right in your pocket. San Diego Sports 760.
Always open.
Laps.
What?
Both of you.
What?
Just
That's
go.
a lighter. It says, please sing.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. What an amazing interview with Andrew Nozel, the good doctor from Scripps Institute of Oceanography right here in San Diego. If you want to listen to that, along with our whole show, it's going to be podcasted as soon as we wrap up here on San Diego Sports 760. And if you're interested in hearing more of this nonsense, we're over on 101.5 KGB afternoons from 3 to 7. So if you enjoy this, you'll enjoy that. Woo! Because it's a lot more of this over there as well. Just in between hearing us, you hear Foghat instead of ads.
We play so much Foghat.
We play a little Pink Floyd, little AC/DC, and every once in a while, when Slow Ride comes on, the boys get really excited.
Golly, 8 minutes and 11 seconds of Foghat.
They weren't lying. It wasn't just a clever song title. It is a slow ride. It is. Okay, we got to wrap up here. We'll be back tomorrow. Obviously, we are going to post some of that interview online. How you could protect yourself from sharks. Yeah, so check that out at Big Rich, TD Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. We'll have it up at 101 KGB as well. Who do we thank today, Fletch?
Well, we thank shark expert himself, Dr. Andrew Nozel. We also thank Josiah. He won those Daryl Hall tickets.
Right on.
We got more Daryl Hall tickets
Right on.
coming up tomorrow. John and Jim, Darren Smith Show both have tickets to see Brit Floyd, which is like a reimagining of Pink Floyd. That's coming to San Diego later this month, so keep it locked in on 760 all day.
Sweet.
And we got more Daryl Hall tickets tomorrow.
All
Yeah.
the way through the week?
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I said about 30 seconds ago.
Did
You know
we?
what?
Oh,
It's a good thing we were paying
yeah,
attention.
because I was thinking, did you thank the Disneyland people?
No,
You
Melissa and
Raul.
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 Aquinas.
Yeah.
Rojas.
Golly.
Yeah.
We're going to go
good.
take pictures with them.
Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow. Herd's next.